Hello and welcome to episode 351 of the Destiny Community Podcast. Yo, we got the final shape reveal.
Final shape, a new season. We got it all.
New season, yeah, big stuff, big stuff.
Eris is my new god. Woo!
Ayat.
Yep.
Ayat.
Ayat, yeah.
Where do you want to start?
I want to start. I don't know. I kind of want to start by just talking about the reveal trailer, but I don't know if we could do that without jumping into like their whole like reveal stream first. I don't know. The reveal trailer was kind of part of that. So
yeah.
We can start with the showcase.
Yeah, the showcase, the trailer. They did this kind of like after show as well, where I feel like they explained a lot that came out. That I found. Honestly, I was about to turn it off. It's like, actually, this is pretty interesting.
Yeah. It's like, even if you were...
I don't know if it was just the time for me. I was probably the opposite end of that spectrum. I was like, nah, this is not doing it for me.
Not getting it done. What was that, like 2 o'clock in the morning for you or something?
It was 2 o'clock in the morning, yeah.
Yes. Yes.
It was just, I think... we can talk about everything anyway. I felt like the post showcase was probably just reiterating the main points of the showcase with a couple of additional bits of insight, but a lot of the time it was I can't speak about that too, which I think got some people a little bit frustrated.
Yeah. Is it, when you say like got a little frustrated, are you talking about some of the post like post final shape stuff?
Yeah. The interviews post shape with the GM and Joe. You know, it was nice to see it from their perspective and like have a little bit of more personal touch to the points. But I think all the main beats were also covered in the like showcase itself. There are a couple things that they kind of clarified, but anything that was not really in the showcase was kind of like, we can't tell you yet, and they're like kind of dancing around the point.
Right.
It was more like explaining it, like this is what this means, or this is how this works.
To a friend, yeah.
Getting clarification on like episodes, because that when they first brought up episodes, I'm like, I understand how it's different, but they only really said like this is going to enable us to do more cutscenes and more like juicy drops instead of, it's still kind of drip fed, but it's more juicy drips.
I think I'm on board with this. Like, I think I am. Obviously, without. Okay, so the episodes, we're getting 3 episodes a year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Plus, are we plus like a big DLC, like a Final Shape style DLC?
We don't know yet.
They didn't clarify it. Yeah.
So that's it, as opposed to 4 seasons, right?
Yeah, which is nice because it's kind of like, you know, we used to have Curse of Osiris Warmind before they like switched it up. It was kind of like the 2 expansions, or even in Destiny 1, you know, that was the big drops were kind of what a lot of people were wanting, and going to 3 from 4 feels like we're heading a little bit more in that direction of something bigger, and like Watt said, like more cinematics, more like actual in-depth storytelling, and consistent storytelling too was another point that they hit on while they were talking. So it sounded pretty interesting.
But it's still going to be drawn out throughout the season. It's not going to be like a DLC drop back in the day where it's like a big, like everything just drops day 1. There might be some secrets that are uncovered later. There might be some small things. It's going to be more like a season, I think, where, you know, it's like week to week. It's a little bit. So it's not quite like, I think I'm on board with it, but I'm not sure. It
kind of sounds like it's in the middle ground of like the seasons we have right now, which are very much so like every week you're getting a little drip, whereas this is like you're getting much larger content in those periods where they're dropping new content. So if you are someone who just likes to log in and do the main content stuff, you should have more to do when you log in for that act drop.
But is that going to be on day 1, or do I got to wait for like week 10
because every
play through like
every episode has 3 acts, right? Separated by 6 weeks. So it's
right, they did say that. Yeah.
So every 6 weeks there'll be something new added.
Acts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean,
I'm still like,
okay.
I think, I mean, we spoke about this, and I think we even like last week we said you know what? I wouldn't mind there being less seasons and more content post Final Shape. I think everyone is kind of keen for that. But when you look at the schedule, you go either way. You look like you're doing more work, and so maybe you got to get just little snippets of more work over a longer time. And you know, they did speak about the season pass, like, oh, you're going to be able to go up to like level 200 in your season pass. So you know, there's going to have to be rewards in that track as well. So it just depends. I think everyone's keen for juicier content with less frequency, and if they deliver that, then cool. And as long as it's not just like player engagement stuff to like, oh, there's a new shader, or like, oh, there's a you know, new this, new that, not actual activities or new weapons to chase or you know, story content. So be interesting to see what they can deliver during the episodes. It seems pretty ambitious, but yeah.
What I don't like about current Destiny is like I feel like I always need to log in for 2 hours once a week to kind of catch up on the current story and like the current rewards, and like eventually I just get like, that's not how I like the game. I like to when I sit down, I like to like kind of immerse myself into something for a longer period of time. And like Destiny is not giving that to me, so I'm hoping that what this is going to give me is like, when the drop comes, is now I get like a big kind of like 6 hours of content, you know, and not 6 hours of like, here's a little bit of story, then run 4 strikes, then come back and here's a little bit more story, and then run Gambit, and then here's a little bit more story, and then run 4 Crucible matches. I don't know. I don't know if that's realistic. I don't know if that's actually realistic.
I don't think it is.
I don't think 6 hours of content, even from like an expansion, can be rough. Right?
Yeah.
So I don't think you're going to get that much, but this is definitely larger content drops when the content's hitting, which I think, like Mylan said, from what we've kind of heard, that seems to be what people want, that people will enjoy that a bit more as a switch up. But I personally like it. Every 6 weeks, there's new content, and it seems to be pretty juicy content every 6 weeks. So I think I'll enjoy it.
I hope I will.
Yeah, that sounds nice. And then also, I saw the narrative team was pretty excited about it online as well, because it seems like they're going to be able to deliver a more focused story that you can just approach it even if you haven't played any other story within that year. It's just like you can just go and do this one thing, and it's a standalone thing, and they really emphasize that in the showcase. And I saw a lot of the narrative team were excited about it, so I'm guessing that has implications for the way that they can tell a story. Maybe it will they'll approach it more interestingly. So because in my mind it's hard to change it from like, what's the difference between the way they're doing it now, like in a season versus this 3 thing. And I think narratively they're going to do something different. I don't know what that is necessarily, other than it being a standalone thing, but it sounds like everybody's excited.
It might give them a bit more flexibility and a little bit more time to put those stories in there, because I think sometimes narrative gets slammed with the crunch of a live service game. So hopefully this gives them a little bit of a breathing room to make sure everything's where it should be and delivered in a, you know, engaging way.
It's I think it could be cool, especially well, I guess this could go either way, but it sounds kind of nice that you can do whichever episode, act, whatever the mini ones within the big drops are called. Act, yes. Acts, you can approach them in any order, which is interesting. So that sounds good for narrative, right? Where they can like craft this story as a single serving. Of course, it's going to interact with the larger world, I'm sure. But the fact that they can craft this kind of single serving story and you can approach it however you want sounds like it would be nice for them making good content. I guess it could be negative in that how cohesive are they with one another? Could maybe be a problem.
That's kind of my one concern, is like, because, you know, when Marvel's in-game finished, everything since then felt super connected. Like, where are we going with this? What are we doing? And that's what everybody was really excited to hear about post-Final Shape. What are we doing? Where are we going? And we didn't get that. And so are we going to fall into that same, like, thing that Marvel fell into, where everybody's kind of like, what's going on? I don't know.
I understand why they didn't tell us, like, narratively or, like, what's going to happen after the Final Shape, because that would reveal, like, I mean, that'd be a spoiler, like, almost by definition, but I was expecting a little bit more about what's going to come Final Shape.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
there was definitely no like super surprises to convince you to stick around after Final Shape because I definitely think there's a portion of the community that's kind of just seeing out the Light versus Dark saga. Hoping they'll have something up their sleeve that will be super exciting, but more close to the time to sort of get you into whatever that story is going to be post Final Shape. You know, I'm kind of expecting like Vex stuff to happen, but
The crazier it is, the less
know
they
the
can
art was-
reveal about it, right? Because like the crazier the end of the Final Shape is, the less they can say about it. So hopefully
Yeah.
it's really
Yeah.
crazy.
True.
Hopefully.
What do you
Yeah.
guys think about the Final
Yeah.
Shape trailer? I really want to talk about it. The Final Shape trailer came out. They showed like we're going into the Traveler. Like somehow it's like manifesting our past. I don't know, our past activities. Like there's like a representation of the tower in there, the D1 tower. It seems like it's like a linear path. We're heading toward the what do they call the monolith? Is that what they called it?
yeah, they called it
Yeah.
just a monolith,
Yes.
I think.
Yeah, the witnesses
So-
monolith.
Yeah, and like everything.
Right, I don't know
like,
if you can
kinda-
see chat. I think your volume's a bit low.
Okay,
What Bill have said
I'll
now.
try and turn it up.
Thank you.
Like that journey looks like it's gonna be really cool because it's like starts off being like full of like forests and greenery, and like as you move closer to the witness, it seems like everything's getting like dark and fucked up looking, and like I don't know, it just looks cool.
Oh
man.
yeah,
It does look
had
very
that
cool, yeah.
like horror element to it with all the hands coming out and
Yeah.
like dreamlike, just nightmare mode. And that's what I've always Destiny does that so good when
They do.
they drip into that atmospheric dread. And so I got really stoked when I saw that part in particular.
Yeah, that's a dark fantasy's always pretty good in Destiny. That's why the Hive are always such a favorite. And
Yeah. I
obviously
do
a
love
big
Hive
tonal-
stories.
yeah, a big tonal change from Lightfall, which I think people are kind of looking forward to with that sort of horror.
Mhm.
And like the whole area apparently changes. Well, the reason why it's like that is it changes to the people who have passed through it. You're in the Pale Heart is the environment from what it sounds like, and that's why you get a lot of flashbacks from Guardians past because as we enter, you know, we're influencing the environment, and that's why we see the tower and things like that. Similarly, as we get sort of deeper into the Pale Heart, into the center where the monolith is, it's been influenced by the Witness, which is the same why it has all those hands because it's like you know the
Mhm.
Witness is a culmination of a whole civilization. So
Right.
No.
Yeah.
They also talked about how that whole area is going to be different than any Destiny 2 area we've had, any Destiny area we've had. It's going to be more linear, not in the sense that like you can only go this one way, but in the sense that like think of a Destiny map. They're all circular. They all have like you can come around and go to the other side. And this one, it progresses like you said, Briar, where it's light and then it gets more messed up as you get closer to the Witness's monolith. But that allows them to narratively tell a story, and it'll be different for us too to explore an area like that rather than just going in a loop. We're like moving forward, and I'm curious what that's going to be like post campaign. But I'm excited to have something different.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it looks
definitely.
cool. It looks
I
cool.
think-
And I like that idea of environmental storytelling. I like the idea where they keep showing like we're fighting as like a group, like all our friends are there, like we're moving forward together, and like we're heading toward this final destination together, and that sounds cool.
Yeah.
yeah,
definitely.
the whole more linear for the campaign. I think Bungie does their best work when they do that, and they have more curated experiences in the campaign. So I think Final Shape from a story point of view will be great, and obviously there's big expectations to conclude the Light vs Dark saga. So definitely not concerned there. And it's great that it opens up towards the end. You know, once you finish the campaign, you'll be able to go back and explore the environment. But yeah, I do think that Bungie does really good work when it's kept a little bit more simple and linear in regards to the story. So
Yeah, I was looking forward to when they said that it is more linear. I was like, that actually sounds like it would be pretty nice to have that be a different experience for Destiny. It makes sense when you're telling this kind of story. And the thing I found really interesting, so we know that the raid is going to be a part of the campaign, and they did say that you will be tackling the witness in the raid. They just told us that.
Yeah.
But they have a goal of getting everyone to play the raid, which I thought was
aggressive.
very interesting. Very
They
interesting.
danced around that topic a lot, and it was very vague and very confusing, and went backwards and forwards, and then they tried to get clarification, and then it kind of stepped it back a bit because I think Pika then said, so everyone's doing the raid, and then I think they said something very vague to that response, but they initially started out saying, we've got some sort of thing to get everyone in there.
In the post show, they also said like, well, like that's not the only place you beat the witness. Like, so like after the raid, there might be some stuff too with the witness, or maybe like some after effects. It was kind of.
I'm thinking it's going to be some post raid event, like Fortnite. You know, you load into the world, and there's like in that area where the raid was.
That'd be cool.
You don't actually do the raid mechanic, but something happens, like we saw with Almighty in the tower, or like an event thing that they've done in the past to finish the Light vs. Dark saga.
You know, you were talking about everyone doing the raid. That could play into the fire team finder that they talked about a lot, because they're actually going to have an in-game way to LFG, and they're wanting that to launch in season 23. So that could be one of the ways that they like get people more involved. But I think it's interesting, Mylan, what you were saying about how they might have something else that is like everybody's going to do the raid somehow.
Yeah. It kind of reminded me of a supercharged version of when you get the cutscenes when the world's first team completes it. You know, they're like it triggers an event, it triggers something once the raid's been completed to help fulfill that story. Because you kind of got to need that. Like, if the witness is part of the raid story, and this is the end of Light vs. Dark saga, and you don't, and there's plenty of people that play Destiny that don't raid. Like,
so many, yes, so
many.
Most people.
So I'm assuming that's what they're trying to do. Like, we want the witness to be in the raid because that seems like a pinnacle way to go out with Destiny. Yeah. But we don't want to exclude the solo players. So like, how do we wrap up this storyline and include everyone in technically what is a raid? I think that's what they're sort of hinting at.
Man, that's a lot of pressure for Bungie to encapsulate 10 years of experience into this one final boss like raid. That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, it makes me wonder if
reverse. Sorry, they said reverse Taken King, and that confused me.
Reverse Taken King.
So in Taken King, you killed Oryx in the missions, and then you went into the raid.
Right.
So this implies you'd kill Witness in the raid, and then there'd be a mission?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. It really makes me wonder. Because, like, with them saying that they want everyone in the raid, I think they must know that obviously not everyone is going to do the raid, which makes me wonder if they're going to have, like, people on the area where the raid is doing something where if you're not raiding, you can kind of, like, help against fighting against the witness.
I thought about that too.
That would be pretty cool. That way everyone's involved.
Charging up Eris Morn.
Yeah. They're just feeding her things.
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool. Even if there was like, even if it wasn't a world thing, if there was like inside the raid at the end of it, there was some sort of matchmaking thing. Like I'm not going to do the raid, but like I can do this mission. And in the mission, it takes you into the raid and loads you with a team doing the raid. And you're maybe not a part of their section or something like that, but like extra firepower when they're on the final boss or something like that. I don't know.
Well, you got what's where Mummy? What raid is that with Rolk? You did that in Rolk, right? You had a mission that you went through.
Right.
That raid, and you got like story and dialogue and lore and stuff like that. So,
what was it when
you definitely go in there as a mission?
When they had that public event where everybody stood in the tower and watched the that spaceship get blown up.
Yeah.
What was that called? What spaceship was that called? First of all,
The Almighty.
The Almighty.
I wonder if that they could use a technology like that where everybody kind of is like in a group, like either watching an event or, participating in an event,
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, like it would be super. I don't know how feasible this is, but it would be super cool if, like, anytime you're in an instance and when someone gets to the final boss, you can like do something to help out. So you're like walk in and you see that they're on that final encounter and you get to do
Yes.
something. That would be super cool.
That would be really cool.
There was a lot of like teamwork stuff throughout all the trailers, right? Like I think people, when we were watching it, they're like 12-man raids, 12-man raids, because it was always like a lot of people. So it would be cool if they did their first ever like 12-man raid for the finale of the Light and Dark saga. That would be awesome.
I struggle finding 5 friends. You tell me I got to find 11?
Oh, what
Well,
if
they got that new
what if it
matchmaking
was like
system.
They got LFG in it.
Yeah, they have LFG and they could do like an easier mode of the raid. And low mans is such a thing. Like low man, like 6-man would become like the new like hard mode, and then carry on from there. That would be cool.
I actually do like that idea that a low man is actually 6, right? And then
Yeah.
like a normal is 12. That is actually a kind of cool idea
Yeah.
because they're obviously very competent at making game mechanics for 6 people.
Yeah.
They also mentioned the campaign is going to be like, you're going to like just jump into that campaign on the final shape. There's not going to be like a bunch of like side quests. Like, this is the most important thing that needs to be done in Destiny right now, and that's what we're doing, which I am way into because that drives me crazy when it's like there's this huge like world-ending threat, but I've got to go find some cats in the alleyway for like because that's
Yeah. They said it's gonna have like pace,
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a new enemy type, the Subjugator. Sorry.
I want to see them kiss.
Okay. There's porn for that.
I am
website for that,
predicting
yeah.
a lot of community art with them boys
Yes.
kissing. Definitely.
Nathan Fillion's coming back to voice Cade.
Yeah.
I was kind of excited
Yep.
about that. I love Nathan Fillion. I'm a fanboy.
A lot of things coming back. We got the D1 tower. Like I'm guessing that's like right from the get-go where you start probably.
Probably, yeah.
I bet you're
Nathan
right.
Fillion, the tower.
Yeah.
They going back to the subjugators, they were talking about how they're going to have a bunch of, because the tormentors, they suck your abilities and suppress you and stuff. And I think these are the opposite. The subjugators, they're like they use like light abilities on you more. They specifically talked about having like a void soul or something like that. The abilities that we have.
Stasis and Strand.
Yeah, they're gonna be a stasis.
Pretty sure this is-
Oh, it is Stasis and Strand? Okay.
Well, they
yeah, I'm
showed
pretty sure
Stasis
there
and
was.
Strand.
I made notes on this, but they could be wrong because it was early in the morning. But I said, I wrote down Stasis and Strand to subjugators.
Okay, that must be what it is.
So chat will probably confirm. But
I want to see them
yeah, I mean,
grapple into
new
the
enemy
sky.
types are great. Obviously, Rolk's design is great. It looks like a Rolk and Nezzy had kids. You got the subjugator. I still would love for like brand new enemy types. I'm still copium hoping like final shape will actually truly shake up the enemy sort of races. But I'll also enemy types are new enemy types. The tormentors were great in Lightfall. So it's good to see some more introduced.
Yeah.
What else is in there?
New supers.
New supers, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
New
that's right.
supers.
Customers.
Yeah. Man, the hunter one. Come
Support
on.
themed.
Come on.
The teleport.
Yeah.
Very cool. You get to teleport 3
Yeah.
times and spin around when you land there.
Yeah, that looked tough.
Good luck
you
in the
throw,
Crucible.
Like a knife, and then you teleport to where your knife lands.
Yep.
Yep.
And then you spin.
That's gonna be tough to deal with in the.
It seems very like League of Legends or something. It feels like a
It's
hero.
literally Katarina. Yeah, it's literally Katarina.
Is it?
Yeah, she has an ability where
play League
she
of Legends.
throws knives,
Yeah.
and when she teleports, she spins when she picks it up. So
Yeah.
it's very much so Katarina.
Yeah. They all seem to have like this support theme. So like the Arc Hunter
Yes.
amplifies teammates. The Titan throws void axes that stay on the field and your whole team
That's
can pick
awesome.
up and run around.
Yeah,
So
I saw
cool.
everyone pick them up. I was like, what?
Yeah, that is
Everyone
cool.
gets to pick them up. Amazing.
Yeah. And the Warlock empowers solar weapons.
Yeah.
It's like a radiance,
Yeah.
from D1. Once you like revive, you can throw heaps of nades and spam your melee, but also empowers your teammates' solar weapons.
That seems good.
So
They also had like new aspects, right? So like the hunter had like a twirly thing that they did because they showed the new aspect, and then they showed them like doing the line attack melee, which gets them in the sky, and then they did that like twirly thing as well.
That was cool.
That looks really
yeah, I
fun.
forgot about that.
It
Yeah,
really
'cause
looks like they're trying to bring the actions per minute that we got with Strand, and they're like, oh, everybody likes this, and it's not necessarily broken, but it's really fun. Let's do this with the light subclasses, and they brought over a bunch of those actions. That's what it reminded me of.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it looks very
what
fun.
the Titan had? The Titan had like basically a shield, right? Like a void shield that they could pop up, and then it. I didn't actually make notes of this. I just made notes on the
I don't
actual.
remember.
I think it was like some sort of riot shield, but Destiny-ified.
Yeah, it like absorbed.
Yeah.
The more damage it absorbed, then you can like
That's what it
you could
was.
basically,
Yeah.
like pop it out at your enemies, and it would kill your
Yeah.
enemies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what it was.
And what did the Warlock have?
They had the new
Nobody cared.
Solar
They
Soul
didn't bother showing
that they throw
Oh,
it
that's
out and it
Solar
like jumps
Soul.
fiery stuff between people. It looked pretty cool.
That did look pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, Soul Buddy.
Yeah. I'm excited for
Um,
those. They all look fun.
Mm-hmm.
God damn, I feel like I'm being a negative Nancy. I've got so many like sort of talking points on these things, but
Hit us.
look, it's
Yeah.
not that
Oh, yeah.
it's not
yeah,
that
it
I'm
is.
it's not that I'm not excited for stuff, but I did hear a lot of like people a little bit disappointed it wasn't any like darkness subclasses, you know, the
Mhm.
stasis and strand.
Is that because they looked at a leak and was like, oh, it's totally new subclass?
Yeah, people
coming.
were kind of
yeah,
expecting
maybe
that.
and
Yeah.
serves you right for looking at leaks, you ding dongs.
It crossed my mind. Like, I wonder if they just didn't have time to implement an entire new subclass, and that's why we got some new supers and new aspects. I was wondering, like,
Yeah.
they got like part way there, but they weren't able to do the whole thing.
Yeah, but they're still good.
Yeah,
And the other thing I find odd is I do like the support idea, but Destiny's never been a game where you've had to choose between being like a DPS class or a support class or like a tank class. You know, you kind of just everything. And I wish there was more distinction between that and having to like choose to be a support and like being support was really beneficial. But I still feel like they're, you know, like they introduced a gun that you can shoot to heal someone, right?
yeah.
And it's like, I can't imagine doing that over doing DPS, or I can't imagine doing that over
Yeah.
clearing ads, or I can't imagine doing that over just throwing a Titan hammer and getting my health back anyway. So it's
The
like,
only time I can
I
see
like
doing it
the
is like
idea.
in a raid where you have like one guy who has to do a very specific task that's very dangerous. So you like to help him out, you like shoot this thing at him to give him health. So
Sword,
like in like
Crota
the
sword?
Crucible or in like Strikes, no, I don't think I'd be equipping that.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. So I would like there to be like a role for support outside of just dropping a well, and I think that's what they're trying to do. But it's hard to justify sometimes too.
It's going to be really hard for them to do that without doing like major UI work
Yeah.
because you need to see when people are low health. And
Yeah,
currently in
right.
Destiny, you
Exactly.
have no way to see if someone's in low health. So that was my thought when I saw it. I was like, yeah, that's cool. Like you can, of course, if someone's like holding the Riven Heart, for example, right? You can keep shooting them to
True.
make sure they're
True.
healthy. So there are times where it makes sense.
Mechanics.
But overall, it's like, how would you know to even shoot them? Unless they yell at you, I guess. Mylan, heal me, goddammit.
Yeah.
I guess that's how you know.
I'm just
What's
healing
interesting
everyone.
about that is they said it's a whole new weapon archetype, not just like here's an
Yes.
exotic. It's like an
Yes.
art, like it's a category of healing weapons. So they're putting a lot into it to do this because
Yeah.
I think of what's the exotic we have now at Lumina that heals people, and like how many people actually are using that, and that feels like a test version of this, but they had to have really dug deep into what would make somebody want to use this if they're going to make a whole archetype of it and not just an exotic.
Yeah.
There was another archetype too, it's like a rocket handgun thing.
I can't remember. If it was an
I
archetype or an
didn't take a
exotic.
huge amount of notes on all the exotics.
This was an exotic. It's a new archetype.
Oh yes, it is a new. Yeah, it's a new archetype. It's like a handgun sidearm rocket thing, a
Yes.
rocket pistol.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like just a
Oh.
legendary rocket pistol. What the heck?
Okay, I
That's
must
crazy.
have tuned that one out.
I do remember
I
that.
did not. I think I thought it was an exotic or something. Yeah, right.
I feel like at first glance, I wasn't into that because it made me think of grenade launchers, and I'm like, I'm kind of like, it's not my weapon of choice.
I do
But
hate
then
grenade launchers.
I got the exotic fusion for pre-ordering.
Mhm.
That does the rocket fusion blast out of it for its alt fire mode, and now I do like rockets, so I'm in. Give me the new archetype. It sounds wonderful.
New exotic or old exotics coming back. Dragon's Breath, Red Death, and Kostov. I don't know how to say that word. Is it Kostov?
Kvastov.
There's no V up there though. It's just
Kostov.
KHO. There's no KHVO. Kvastov. Everybody says Kvastov. But there's no
There was a
V there.
fourth one, right? Of an exotic that was coming back. Dang it. I was excited about it, and I don't remember what it was now. I was like, Kvastov, that's okay. But then there was one other one that was so cool. What was it?
Not Red Death or Dragon's Breath.
Dragon's Breath
No.
I always used to like. I thought that was a fun weapon. But I only get so excited about old guns coming back.
I like Dragon's Breath. I actually really like that one.
It was
I mean,
fun.
I need a good
Were you
rocket too.
excited about Necrochasm probably coming back?
Oh, that might be what I'm thinking of. Necrochasm was in the trailer for Crota, I think, and I am excited about that. That
Me
must
too.
be
I
what it
love
was.
Necrochasm.
Mhm.
I really liked Necrochasm. I think that was the last gun I used in D1, like the last time I played it.
Yeah.
It's like Firefly, right? It makes like an explosion with headshots. Is that what it does again?
It was also like super high fire rate. I think it was buffed at the end of Destiny as well,
Yep.
right?
Yeah,
was pretty
I
decent.
bet it was. Yep. Isaac has it. They mentioned a golden gun sniper and the traveler beam as a gun.
Yeah.
What?
Right.
Oh yes, yeah.
Yeah.
The Traveler beam gun looked awesome too, with like 2 huge blades in it.
Yeah.
And a golden gun
Sounds
sniper.
awesome.
I mean, nothing wrong with that.
So what's the traveler beam gonna just turn him into a flower or something?
I would love it
Okay.
if they had an animation to where it like blossoms flowers when you shoot people.
Oh, it turns their gun into a flower, and they can't shoot.
It's like Kylie Jenner
Gonna be
put
like,
the
you can just-
flower in the Coke can of the police.
You
Nothing.
you just gotta be able to put like brambles everywhere, like modify the map, like put trees and like block off passages. With,
Ooh, that's actually
Thorns.
cool.
Mm.
I'm into it. It's like the way Cammy Cakes uses stasis.
mm-hmm.
Uh,
Power level. They had a bit of discussion about power level as well.
I'll be honest,
With,
I was really
uh,
tuned out for that conversation. How's this gonna work? Everybody, like, if you join somebody's higher
basically-
level, you're just gonna be like up at their level now.
the
Yeah, there's a
highest
bunch of
person's level.
activities that will take just the highest level of the person in your fire team, so you're not locked out of activities. However, there will be some things that will require your power level to be at the right level. I think trials was the example they gave, but they said they're also going to experiment with it too. They didn't say it, but the underlying tone was like, "We'll try it, but we're concerned that cheaters will, paid carries and carry services will probably ruin this, but we might
Yeah.
flip the switch and see what it's like, and then flip it off again." Yeah, but so there will be some things you will need to grind, but it does sound in general that power levels kind of getting phased out, or at least
Yeah.
like individually having to grind. Like you're most likely going to have someone that you can join that will help out.
I love it. Do y'all like I feel like we've had this conversation a lot before, but I'm like very anti power level. I'm like, just make the
Yeah.
activity fun.
I'm
I
so
just want to
over it.
play the
I
game.
can't stand it.
Yeah.
I hate like
I
waiting for
think-
boots to drop. Like it's the most annoying thing.
I think games when they're brand new and like I was just thinking like when a game comes out, I don't mind leveling. Like leveling's really fun.
Mhm.
Like if you haven't done it for 10 years, it's kind of cool. You know, I'm just thinking about any other MMO or like New World or whatever, you know, comes out like because like I'll chop trees for 2 hours. Hell yeah, brother. Let's let's get that stat up there. But you know, I think we are at the we are 10 years based 9-10 years into Destiny, so it's kind of like I don't feel like I need to power level. I just kind of want to play the bits of the game that I like. So
Yeah. I definitely hear your point though too, because like if I'm like wanting to go down nostalgia lane and want to play Pokemon again on the old Game Boy, getting a hard reset and leveling up is like it just feels awesome. Whereas it kind of felt that way every time you got a new expansion. I think it's just like the pinnacle grind, the like long
Right.
drawn out week to week
Yeah.
stuff that I'm kind
Yeah,
of
that's
done
tough.
with. But yeah, if they did something where it was just like an initial story grind, I would be down for that to like feel more powerful as you go. Because like you said, that is fun.
Pokemon's a funny example too because in that game you actually get to see your Pokemon upgrade. Like you get to see them evolve. You know, so it kind of adds a bit of fun. Like each one you level up, you get to see it literally like evolve into like its next level, which is not the same feeling you get in Destiny where you just never feel any different really. You just now can do damage to things you couldn't before.
Yeah, and you can go to zone 1 and just stomp on everything when you're done with the game.
yeah,
We got
I think that's the
the-
issue with the way Destiny functions and power level. It's like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
a thing you need to do as a ticket of entry rather than like other games, you know, like the Pokemon example, or even like Elden Ring or something where you go away, level up, and you come back and you kick their head in. Do you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
Destiny's like get to this level so you can play the activity, rather than like this thing's kicking my butt. I'm gonna go level up and come back and beat it.
Yeah, it's a
No.
very different thing.
Yeah, I was super happy about the light level thing though, with bringing people up with you.
Yeah.
So
It makes the game more inclusive, right? Like I can now
Yeah.
play with my friends with no concern about it.
that means now that you can say, "Hey, friend, you should come play Destiny. We can do a raid literally tomorrow." You may not
Yeah.
have the best guns, but you will be on the correct level to experience a raid right away, which
Yeah.
is very cool.
In the post show, I can't remember who the interviewer was, but she said basically like, so I can join a raid in like green gear. He's like, yeah, I mean you could, but you're not gonna have like your gear isn't gonna be like empowering you to do all the cool stuff that like good gear will, but like you can still do damage. Like you still, you're not gonna be like. Remember in like old raids, if you weren't high enough level, you couldn't do any damage. Like you just literally couldn't do any.
Yeah.
Yeah. The question marks
gonna be fun.
over the enemies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of the best fun I've had in Destiny is when I've got non-Destiny players to do an activity with me, and we did a dungeon.
Yeah.
And we did old dungeons because their power level was low, and they kind of get a feeling for what they're grinding for. Like why do I need to get better guns and better rolls and better power weapons or better ad clear? It's like, oh, this is, I want to get better at this. So I think that is probably the best way to introduce people to Destiny is once I've done a little bit of it is to sort of show them what the end game looks like. And this will allow you to drag them by the bootstraps into that.
And you get cool gear out of it. Like it's like a real
Right.
jump
True.
start, like
True.
It is, yeah. We got
and
the
on that note,
yeah.
LFG Finder.
Yeah.
On the note of finding
LFG
finding
Finder.
friends.
Yep.
Yeah, or what are they called? Is it just called Fireteam Finder? I didn't
Yeah.
write the actual
Mhm.
name down.
Fireteam Finder. I'm guessing, they went above and beyond what they have currently in their app. So they have like in their app, there's a Fireteam Finder, and I use it all the time just to like quickly find something if I'm feeling super antisocial, which I frequently do, and many of us do. And it's just easy to just get some people to do a quick activity. But they took it even further with the in-game one, where it's like no, this is my play style. This is, they allowed you to customize it a little bit
Tags.
more. Yeah, tags and stuff, so people know, like, I'm not going to play Trials to sweat. I'm just here to like have a good time, and if I don't make it, I don't make it. But in a real quick tag, instead of having to type it out every single time, it's just like a part of your personality when you make the post. So that sounds really makes it pretty
Gallahorn
accessible.
tag?
That should be one.
Yeah. So it looks like a robust system, and I think it will help with not just raids, because I think you'll have it for GMs and other stuff too, right? Like you'll be able to use it for not just 6-player activities, but legendary version of an exotic mission or whatever to get through. Sometimes those things can be really annoying to find people for, so that's good.
And it's nice as well with the tags. You can look for people who kind of fit what you're looking for as well. Like if you're looking to be super sweaty and go super hard with it, there are tags for that. There's tags for like chill, relaxed, or teaching. And there's also ones for like colorblind stuff as well. So they're trying to make you able to find people to do activities with, but also like people who are similar to you to hopefully encourage you to have friends, and then you won't need to use the LFG finder anymore because you're gonna have people to play with. So I thought that was cool. They're trying to get you to find some folks to play with.
Yeah,
I'm gonna use the tags like Super Sweat Lord, must know what they're doing, times 100 clears.
Can I type in
and then
my
just
own
ask
tags?
everyone questions and just see what happens?
We did get the release date of Final Shape. It's February 27th is the release date.
nice.
Oh, I missed that too.
Yeah, February
So
27th.
far. We also got the special
Okay.
edition details.
The special edition, the
Oh,
collector's
yeah.
edition is pretty cool,
Yeah,
man.
I think I
That
need a
tower
tower in
is
my
pretty
life.
great. I was like, that is the perfect thing for the Final Shape, right?
We got
Having
little
the tower.
Vanguard figurines.
You do, and they light up and stuff on the tower.
And it looks
It's
like
great.
there's going to be some secrets that they didn't want to show off because they talked about
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
having fun with magnets and like lights and stuff like that. So I'm guessing there's like hidden compartments or something in there, or hidden features in that thing. I gotta
It's
get
pretty
that.
big.
I think. Yeah.
So it looked like there would be hidden stuff in there, and they were real vague, really
Super
vague when they were
vague, super
talking
vague.
about it, and you're like, "There's a lot here they're not
Yeah.
saying."
Do you guys remember the Destiny 2 special edition that came with like a survival kit shaped like, I don't even know what that
Yeah.
was shaped like, but it was like a Mylar blanket.
It was like a
battery
pyramid
charger.
thing, but like
Yeah.
it was like a Toblerone packet.
It was a thing that did not stand up straight on any surface. But yeah, this looked cool. I think I need this in my life, honestly.
With the collector's edition, you all should know that apparently, if you're wanting the pre-order stuff that you get in game, like the exotic fusion you get for pre-ordering, that you need to get the pre-order that comes with the annual pass, not the collector's edition. They're like, you don't get, at least as of right now, you don't get the pre-order in-game stuff if you get the collector's edition.
Does the collector's edition even come with a copy of the game? I would imagine it's separated. Wasn't it separated last time?
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe that's what it is. But also, even if you're pre-ordering the normal version, you have to get the annual version to get all the extra stuff. So just a heads
okay.
up, 'cause I have a
Alright.
lot of people asking about that right now.
They also announced that they're doing, what did they call this? They're bringing back some of the like notable missions of the past. And
That's in the game now, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They have the
That came with-
Forsaken
You
one,
can look
right?
at it right now. Yeah.
Oh, that's perfect. I thought that was a really good addition. So you could like do the mission where Cade, spoilers, bites the bullet, where Aldrin kills Cade, specifically that dude who's still around. Nobody's saying shit about it. What's Cade gonna say when he sees that?
I'm
dude
curious about
walking
that, too.
around?
Very interested in that reunion.
Yep.
Reunion?
I hope he fucking puts
Meeting.
one right in his dome. He's just like, pop, got him.
It would
Did you
actually be
see?
pretty
Did you know he
funny.
killed me?
It would be pretty funny if he did it and then his ghost can just res him, right? And then he's like, okay, now we're good.
No, I hope he
can see-
pops
I
the
can see
ghost
Cade doing
too.
that.
You son of a bitch.
Well, what's interesting about that is, they talked about Inside the Traveler being a reflection of your story, your journey, your mind. And I'm wondering if that's how they end up bringing Cade back, where it's doesn't feel like a cheap blow to his actual arc that he had in the game. But also, like, does that mean that we could see other characters from the past inside the Traveler too? Like, could we see,
good question.
like, because Amanda is a big part
Amanda.
of Crow's story and very attached to Cade as well. And what if we see them all interacting and there are other characters that we've lost along the way? Or other enemies that we've lost along the way. I
Oh,
feel like there's
shit.
a lot of potential there.
That's a good question.
Mm.
Hey,
I don't know how.
Can Cade come back out with us? Or is he...
See, I don't think
think so.
he's going to be able to.
He's just
No.
stuck in the Traveler?
Yeah, that's what I assumed is Cade's part of this whole memory thing with the pale heart, but he also is acting like he's been resurrected too. Like he's like, I don't know how I got here, like where am I kind of deal. And if he was like just a memory, I don't think you would get that. So there's obviously something else going on.
Oh,
with
so
him.
he's not
Yeah.
there now. He'll be there when we get there because he's like a manifestation by the Traveler to guide us with something we know or somebody we know.
Maybe, yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
not Cade really. It's more like our memory of Cade that the Traveler is using to guide us on the right path.
Well, that's what I would have thought.
know.
But then the way that he speaks and is like having this reunion with like Korra, like it doesn't. He's kind of Cade.
But yeah, I mean, we
Cade,
know
like
Cade,
original
so
Cade.
we'd remember that he knew Ikora, right? So that this representation of Cade would know Ikora.
They could do something where
The
like
Traveler knew Cade.
they kind of did this with the Eternals a little bit where, well, I don't want to spoil anything, but basically what if the ghosts have, they're all attached to the Traveler and the light and they res us all the time and you can kill a ghost and then a person isn't there anymore. What if the Traveler somehow like has the essence of everyone who's been a guardian and can only res them inside the Traveler and not like that's the only place they can be. That would make sense because then it could be a continuation of Cade, but it doesn't cheapen anything that's happened and it doesn't let us continue on with him later. It is just like him there guiding us and it really is him. Because if it wasn't really him and it was just a mental thing of us, it wouldn't feel as meaningful, like Mylan was saying, with him interacting with the Vanguard and having those conclusions to the story.
Pat, I just said in chat, wait, what if Cade is more so comes from the witness since the darkness is memory? It does make sense.
Oh, that's true.
That's the bit that's confusing me because they kept saying the pale heart, which is the Traveler, and they talked about all these memories. I'm like, isn't memory part of the darkness like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what if
That did confuse me too.
what if Cade is like leading us, but like, and he might not even
You are
know.
death.
Yeah, but he might not even know he's doing the witness's bidding.
That
Aha.
or it could just be not good or bad. It could be, the witnesses put up this monolith and it's clearly changing the internals of the Traveler and like maybe memory. Like, it's kind of mixed. Like the Traveler's about growth, the witness is about memory, and somehow those things collide and you get the old tower all the way into descending into the witness's hell, basically. But also you got something like Cade popping up. I don't know.
So I saw this Reddit post, and I read it very quickly, and then I've seen Memory post in chat now, and I didn't pick up on it on the time. But did they call Cade a Virgil, meaning
Yes.
from the story with Dante and like a tour of heaven kind of deal?
Yeah, that's what they did say that, and that's kind of what I thought. I was like, oh, DMC. What you doing over there, Bungie?
Devil May Cry. Right.
Our guide through hell.
Dum-dum-dum.
It's I can't wait to play it.
Let's be honest. It's Lord of the Rings. Okay, that's the first thing I thought. Fucking we're Frodo on a
Yeah,
journey.
I'm genuinely pretty excited for the Final Shape campaign.
Yeah, me
just
too.
because like the way they showed it, like they said it's all campaign, right? Until you're done, it's all
Yeah.
campaign. So
Yeah.
it's like you're going through this experience that starts in a tower and you're like, oh, it's the tower. I love the tower. The tower's awesome. And then you're going, oh, that's a lot of hands. Seems a bit weird. And then they also kind of showed like it kind of answered the question about the horse. You know, when we see the horse in the
yeah.
Yeah,
raid and it's all
dissected.
chopped up. And they kind of talked a little bit about that in there, which I can't remember. But
Like how he's like disassembling things but putting them back together,
yeah,
kind of weird.
yeah. So he likes to disassemble things, but then when he puts it back together, it's just not quite right. So you're
Yeah.
going through this world and you're like, that is a horse, but
That is the tower.
it's a weird
but-
horse. Yeah, I really like what they're doing with that. I'm excited to see it in action.
Yeah, I'm excited. I was right when I got on the call with Lego. I was like, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty excited about Final Shape because that trailer was hype. Like I was having a good time watching the reveal. I'm really looking forward to the Final Shape, more so than I've been excited for a reveal in a couple of years, I think.
And it's the whole
Gaia.
thing has got me pretty hyped for even what we're doing this season. Like it feels meaningful
Yes.
leading up into it. And so I'm really sucked in narratively to what's going on right now. And there's a lot of interesting stuff gameplay wise, but just narratively, just leading into the Final Shape, like I actually care a little bit more after seeing everything and knowing what we're doing.
I can totally see that because until now we've been kind of just like, yeah, like we're doing stuff, but we don't know anything about the Final Shape. We don't know anything about post Final Shape. So now actually having some information about what's happening does make you get more invested in the seasons leading up.
The question is, I mean, are we going to see Ziva Wrath this season? Do you think?
I was wondering that too.
A 1v1 boxing arena with Eris Morn versus Zivu.
Oh, it's like
Yeah.
Oh, so there's her acolytes in the audience going woo, and her acolytes in the audience.
Yeah, it feels like something like Godzilla versus Mothra or
like
something.
Rock'em Sock robots.
It does. Yeah.
I'm really concerned that
It's not
it's
gonna
going to
happen.
be disappointing because because how, you know, how is there going to be room for that in the Final Shape? But how is there going to be room for that this season without, because there's no raid, well, there is a raid, but you know, it's not
Yeah.
for this.
Connected.
And then there's no dungeon. Like what could possibly like be something that would be the equivalent of taking on Savathun or Oryx?
Maybe she gets pushed.
This
off
is always
to
my issue with
post-Final
seasons.
Shape.
Seasons seem to always start off really strong, but have been pretty notorious for not having great endings because they need to lead to the next season, which leads to the next season, which leads to the next season, which leads to the expansion. And I can't really imagine taking out Zivu in a story mission in a season, but that would rock me socks.
Unless,
Yeah.
what if they do it like they do secret missions and like towards the end of because they don't want to. It shouldn't be a secret. Like it should be like this is what we're doing, sort of the way that they're treating the Final Shape campaign, where it's like this is the most important thing right now. Zivu Arath is that big. Like it should be. This
It
is the
does need
most
to be
important
big,
thing right
yeah.
now.
Because Eris right now is goddamn epic.
Yeah.
This has started off like, and I'll be honest, I was more excited about this season than I was Final Shape. I was more excited about Eris's transformation and the story this season, and they've done a really good job at acknowledging and taking into account all the previous backstories of Eris and the Hive and the Books of Sorrow, and I think it's just such a great arc for her character and sort of how she started off dark and then everyone, abandoned her and didn't want her in the tower, and she kind of came good. She's kind of getting cozy with Drifter, and then now she's like Mortal Kombat 10.
I
it's
am
like-
really into this season very much so. And
Mhm.
like, when you go through the portal and you go to like Eris's little world and you look in the skybox and it's got her eyes, her three like hive eyes. Love it.
Yeah.
So I'm really loving this season. And like Eris is such a good character and Morla does so well voicing her that I feel like I like every season with her in it because the character is just creepy and interesting. And I mean, hello, she went down to the Hellmouth and like her eyes became hive eyes and it's a very interesting story. So
they definitely fleshed her out since then in a wonderful way though. She's such a deep
she's amazing.
She started
I
off
love
being.
her.
So I think
I
this
did
is
have
a perfect
one
example of what
I was going to say I
a
have one
season
small
story should
point
be,
about
right?
what we were talking about real quick
Yep.
before we like move on super far from it. In the final shape reveal, because talking about Ziva Wrath and how we're going to tackle that, Kat did say raids with a s.
Mm.
And I was like, try not to read too much into the fact that they said raids and not raid. But what if there's 2 raids and 1 Ziva?
Interesting. You mean like in February?
Yeah.
Interesting.
You
think
start
that's
out in a
probably-
raid. Yeah, it probably is. Yeah. It probably is. We did say raids.
Is the
Raids
first
with Nest.
episode going to start right in February with the release of Final Shape? Is it going to be?
I
or
think
is
they
the first
said.
episode gonna be
I think
later?
they said yes.
Okay.
I think they said yeah. It jumps right into after the raid, I believe. After the raid, it kind of jumps into because then you've. I mean, I guess I don't know if we're killing the witness or the witness is killing us, and we gotta go leave. But it's dealing with the aftermath of what we do in the final shape. So yeah, it should start right away
Interesting.
after the raid, though.
After
When the raid's
yeah.
cleared.
I wonder when the raid will
that
start. I wonder
kinda
if it'll be like
concerns
that
me.
week, like, or it'll be like a week later, or yeah, I bet it's gonna start pretty quick for narrative reasons.
Mm.
So the
Um,
first episode should be like, okay, post Final Shape, here we go. Like this is Destiny's future.
Yeah.
What's the name?
What
of
were
the
you gonna
first
say
episode?
concerns you, Mylan?
I was gonna say, when they started talking about episodes, they were talking about how Final Shape's gonna lead into the episode. I'm like, no, like just please, you've already promised that these like, as long as it's a definitive conclusion to
Yeah.
Light vs Dark, and then the way that you lead in is like a post-credit scene or a post-mission or a post-campaign, and then the new threat gets added. You know, it's not like
Yeah.
something goes unresolved in Final Shape, and then it's like, oh, tune into episode 1 of our new saga.
I have the same worry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
the first one is called Echoes.
Echoes of the past.
Well, that's what I make you think of, right? Echoes of the past. Interesting. And then there's Revenant and Heresy. Sorry, not Heresy. Heresy.
Heresy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Have to wait
really
and see.
doesn't really give you a
No, it
lot
doesn't
with
give
the
you-
names. I was
yeah,
like, those
no,
names don't mean
no.
anything to me.
No.
I am looking forward to the switch up though, right? So they're obviously trying something new and seeing how it lands and see how it feels with people. So I'm looking forward to that. And I'm looking forward to the fact that each episode is its own thing. You know, the acts within the episode are all related, but each episode being its own story, I'm interested to see what the narrative team can do with that.
Revenant
Same.
Yeah.
refers to somebody who's like returned from I don't know, returned from the dead, but that's basically everybody in Destiny.
That's what if I mean it could be Cade being like, now we've dealt with the witness. Let me talk about where I've been
Yeah.
for however
That
long.
would be. I would sit
Let's
down and
take
have
a-
a couple drinks with Cade. That's for sure.
Yeah,
Tell
yeah,
me a
def-
story.
You know, that is
mean-
a really good guess, Watts, because Echoes, like in my mind, I was worried because I was like, we're going to be dealing with Echoes of the Witness. Like, I just want to be done with it, like Mylan said, and move on, conclusive innings. But Echoes could be the echoes of, you know, whatever this is that Cade is back with and like dealing with the memories, or not memories, but
Memory
dealing
leak.
with things that we have to let go of to move on from the previous version of Destiny that we know, and maybe that is what it's about, and exploring like why Cade is even there to begin with, what's going to happen with all that. That would be, because then that concludes the witness and still brings us to like wrap up something in a different way, not necessarily to do with the witness though.
What if it's Echoes of the Future and we find out somehow through this whole adventure, we see a glimpse of the future that we have to change.
I'm down with that.
I can't remember what the
Good.
images in the background of each of the episodes were.
I need to bring.
I
that
know
up.
there was like I think it was the Fanatic was in the Revenant one, the second one. I can't remember the others.
There's a big bear.
Could I mean chat's regurgitating my theory, which it could be a Vex related because Echoes is often used for Osiris. Osiris has Echoes that explores the Vex network and the Infinite
That's true,
Forest.
yeah.
And they obviously introduced the whole Maya Sundaresh and Chioma Essie
Yeah.
storyline from Lightfall, so could be Vexy.
It does look like a Vex on the picture here.
It's Vex. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
And Vex, and then there's
It does look
what is
Vexy,
it?
yeah.
Pickrel or whatever his name is. It looks
Pickrel,
like
yeah.
him in the middle one, and then Hive on the for Heresy.
Heresy definitely is very Hivey, right? Very, very Hivey in general. Man, I'm so curious as to what this is gonna cover because this is post the big bad. Post the big bad, but these are all familiar enemies, but it's post the big bad. So I don't know how that's gonna go.
Guess we'll see.
I
But
don't know.
I am really enjoying what we have right now, though.
Yeah, Season of the Witch. Let's talk about that more.
Let's talk.
Season of the Witch.
Deck building card system.
Yes.
Deck building.
It is a mini deck building system. Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
So you unlock if you haven't played yet, you unlock cards essentially by playing the game. You get them dropped in activity. It's a little bit confusing with the quest steps because it feels like you unlock them when you go to the table in Eris's little world, but really what you unlock is the bounty to then like properly unlock them. So then once you complete the bounty, you actually get the card, and once you get 5 cards, they you have a random you get one of them randomly when you start an activity or when you start an encounter within an activity, like in the altars of summoning, and they're pretty powerful. Like one of them just shits out heavy ammo like all the time. You just have infinite heavy ammo.
Yep.
Other times it just creates more explosions, it does more damage. So it's a little bit of what we saw last season with like the rogue light kind of deal, but more autonomy in building out your deck of cards.
I really dig it. I'm not even that far into it yet. As far like I haven't gotten to the point where I've unlocked enough to where it gives me a random modifier in a mission. I think I got the cards unlocked, like you said, but I was so focused on doing Crucible stuff or other things that I hadn't gone and unlocked the cards. I just had the quests for them. But I am very engaged with the system. Like now that I'm done with that stuff and I'm kind of more focused on it, I'm very engaged with it being a new way of unlocking things and not a frustrating, table that I have to wait week by week to unlock through the story or anything like that. I can just go through this at my own pace.
Well, yes.
You will need to wait.
Oh, really?
Because-
Okay.
Yeah, of course. You can unlock 5 major Arcana cards now.
Uh-huh.
I'm assuming people have probably seen how many there are total. I'm not too sure how many cards there are total, but as far as I know, you can only get 5 this week.
Okay.
You can get the more minor ones. I'm not too sure if there's a limit on that, but the major ones that do crazy stuff, there's only 5.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
There are some. I do like where they're going with the system. There are some things that need to be like smoothed over a bit. Like when you first start doing it, it doesn't actually tell you what the buff is. Like in game, like in the activity itself, you have to memorize. You have to memorize your cards, which is it's not. You actually get used to it very quick because there's little symbols on the cards that like give you a clue to what they do. So like the one that drops heavy ammo actually has a heavy ammo icon on it. Yeah, okay, it gives you heavy ammo.
Yeah,
but other ones are just like random symbols. Like the damage is like a lightning bolt with a circle around it. You're like, huh? And if you're not very familiar with it when you first learn the system, it can be a little bit jarring to like understand what buff you have on. I wish you could open your ghost and actually see the card that was active, because you get other people who have cards too. And I'm pretty sure they activate for you as well. You actually see all the cards pop up in the live feed and like at the altar kind of deal when you start the encounter and you see what cards they pulled. And they could have a card you've never seen before, so you don't really know what it does. So, yeah, I mean, nothing major. And I like the aesthetic of the cards sort of just like floating in the midair, but it would be nice to be able to... Yeah, the cards do look cool. It'd be nice to be able to pull out your ghosts and actually see what the buff is that you've just added randomly.
Well, I could definitely use some buffs in that activity because when someone puts in a tier 3, yeah, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You're not playing Titan right. That's I'll show you.
That's the problem. I'm playing
the new
Strand Hunter or something.
The new Titan aspect, right? Banner of War.
Oh yeah.
Has like an AoE heal once you get a melee, and you can put that on. You can put a sword on, Lament preferably, and you can put on Strongholds, and you can literally just tank everything in the game. Like I just sat in front of 3 Shriekers on tier 3, and they can't touch you.
That's awesome.
That's very cool because it also heals your teammates, right? So you can have just like one Titan, you can group around the Titan and wail on them.
Yeah. Or you can have 3 Titans and you're just giving health to everyone.
You can. So this is actually a really good time to talk about the new aspects. Because so the Hunter Strand aspect is pretty freaking incredible.
It's cool.
Pretty incredible. So you essentially get to turn your Tangles into Beyblades. So it's whenever you destroy a Tangle. So you can either shoot a Tangle and it will turn it into a Beyblade, or you can pick it up and throw it. That'll also turn it into a Beyblade. And it just like, it lasts for a really long time and it's just spinning around. And since they made a change to where you can make Tangles more often, you can have a bunch of those just going at it, just spinning around. And the really cool thing as well is because it's a Tangle, you can grapple to it. So you can like grapple to the Tangle, pick it up, throw the Tangle, grapple to the Tangle, it explodes, it turns into the Beyblade, then you can grapple the Beyblade. It's kind of incredible.
That's cool.
Using it in PvP, people are very confused.
Yeah,
they're just
what
standing there
happens?
and they're just like, what is going on? So they can shoot it like you can shoot a Tangle. They can destroy it, which I'm sure people will at some point, and then maybe it's not as good, but it would still make them choose between like fighting you or dealing with this thing that's spinning on them. So it's been really good for, obviously, if you push someone with it, they're having to deal with, first of all, they took the Tangle damage from you throwing it at them, plus you're shooting them, and they're having to deal with this thing like ticking. It does 5 damage like every time it hits, but it's spinning, doing like 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. So I put out a video today of like my Season of the Witch PvP experience so far. It's me like falling off the map, going too fast, and just like throwing Beyblades at people.
I need to watch it because I need to
Really
see these
fun.
in action.
They're
That
great.
Sounds really cool.
It's really good. The only problem is that it tries to go through walls to go get people, so it can get stuck on walls. But yeah, there's also an artifact mod this season where you can just make a Tangle from a Strand weapon kill sometimes.
I saw that.
So you've
Yes.
got many ways to kind of make a lot of Tangles. And also you can shoot an enemy's Tangle and turn it into your Beyblade.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah.
Just by destroying it?
Yep.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so if you have a lot of Tangles out there, you just shoot everyone's Tangle. Beyblades, make your own Beyblades. It's pretty great.
I can't wait to try
It's
that.
really- it's really
the
fun.
only thing that I've seen from the new aspects is the
Warlock.
Warlock one because I faced an invincible one and I was like, what do I do? Because they have 90% damage resistance?
Yes. My Monte Carlo was doing 2 damage per hit. 2.
There's a video out there of a team of 5 people all shooting rockets at one Warlock and he survives all
What?
of them.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. They so earlier today, Bungie Help said, due to an issue, we've removed Rift from comp, and that issue is Warlocks weave walking because they can pick up the spark and just go dunk it, and like you cannot be killed.
Wow.
So
That reminds
I'm
me of
kind
the
of
hammer back in the day. You'd hear that hammer and you
yeah.
just run away. It sounds like the same deal. You just got to run away.
That times 100. Yes.
Yeah, it's really crazy. So I'm a little worried about it in like trials, right? When they're because they took
Oh, shit.
out Rift from comp, so it's like okay. But with trials, they can just technically sit on the point in Weave Walk, and like you can't kill them.
Yeah.
They can't shoot you, so you can like get on the point and kind of like stop them from capping it. But if there's like distance and you don't have time to get there, you know, a lot of the time you're looking to kill the person on the point. You're not going to be able to.
That's a cool strategy, though. Like, say a Bubble Titan comes in, they put a bubble down on the flag. Usually, that's game over right there.
That is
Weave
true.
Walker pops his thing, goes in there. They get distracted because they're focused on him. You can't shoot it all because you're Weave Walking, but then your teammates come in and they're distracted enough for you to take down the bubble. And the bubble health isn't as strong as it used to be. I took a bubble down, the guy inside of it, just in 2 adaptive frame fusion shots just in a row. I was like, whoa, that doesn't feel like that should work because it's pretty fast. So yeah, that could totally be a good strat.
Yeah, I think you'll see. I think this will. I mean, I think the positive side is you'll see more people running Strand. And I think Strand is not generally not super oppressive.
Yeah.
So, but they do make a lot of threadlings. They're making a lot of threadlings with that Weave Walk thing. They're letting them rip. It's gotten very interesting.
I was reading a Reddit article before coming on the show because people were complaining that Weave Walker wasn't strong enough in PvE. Like, yes, it's strong, but like it wasn't useful because you can't res people while you're in it. You can't shoot. So what do you do other than spawn the little babies that go out? And so they were saying, well, y'all need to get used to using tick damage. So something like Wither Horde or Thorn or something, or things that will actually apply damage over time, and nade. But Wither Horde was the main thing that came to mind because you could shoot that and then go into your Weave Walk, get your damage resistance, move across the map, better position, undo it, and engage in a different way. I could see it being a real lifesaver in some GMs and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think all 3 of these aspects are like really good. I think they're really good. They're really fun. They're useful. So yeah, I've already seen a lot more Strand and Crucible than I kind of ever have.
Good times.
Nice.
But yeah, Eris this season, nuts. That cutscene, the cutscene where she changed into whatever she is now, the god of what, vengeance? That's what she is.
I got chills when the bandage came off and the camera's behind her. I was like, oh.
I know. It was really good. And someone from Bungie said that they actually had Morla do some motion capture for the transformation.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's a little bit of Morla, like moving her hands around in a creepy way. Amazing.
Just cutting her fingers.
Yeah, it's just like, hold on, guys, I got this.
We don't deserve Morla.
We don't. Seriously, she's amazing. She was watching our stream when we were watching the showcase. She was in chat. It was great.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Everyone's talking about the Dark Future timeline now because in the Dark Future, Eris was the witch, and this is Season of the Witch, and she took over from Savathun.
Uh-oh. Well, that's kind of a bit of the narrative that we've had already, right? Is Eris going to kind of lose herself doing this and end up just becoming Hive? Because Imari's like, I'm sure Eris gonna turn into. That's wrong. That's Southern. He's like a Jersey mobster. He's a New Jersey mob man. Whatever that accent is.
Some great lines too. Oh
he does have great lines. What was the one where he's like, these are all when it's the score and the explodey score, and he's like, oh, they're all scoring. Sorry about that. Have fun.
I was thinking the one it's like one of the first missions, and Eris is like, Savathun, these halls are filled with the echoes of Savathun and blah, 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 blah. And he's just like, she just left you some recordings. It's not that big of a deal. It's like, yes, this is great.
Oh, yeah, I forget I asked. Yeah, he has good lines.
I think that's what's good about a storyline that's a little bit more straight to the point. You know, it's like, hey, go do the shoot, feed violence to Eris so she can get strong enough to take on Xivu. And it just leaves everything else open to character interaction and dialogue and building
Yeah.
up those like side stories compared to something that is a bit more convoluted. Like even last season, go get the egregore to connect the memories of the universe to remind Asa, who came back with Sloane from the Titan, which was taken by the Witness, where to then get a flashback of the origin story of the Witness. There you have it. Like,
Yeah.
I kind of like this. I think this is, they can keep it engaging because of the cast of characters: Imaru, Savathun, Eris, Drifter. Like they're just bangers.
And
So.
I'm impressed too with how fleshed out Amaru is, because I thought the ghost was kind of annoying in the Savathun, like not necessarily the Savathun's campaign in the Witch Queen, but like the post stuff where like you'd hear them when you're out in the world doing stuff. I can't remember exactly when, but it always felt like a little more like, I don't know, just grungy and uninteresting. Whereas now it's like, oh, I actually see a little bit more of Amaru's character and actually enjoyable interactions, and I was not expecting that.
It's funny. I like him.
Yeah.
Right, what else we got?
We got
the actual activities. Did we talk about them much? Not really. There's 2. I actually really like these 2. I think that they are very good seasonal activities. You have essentially like the Court of Oryx is back, but it's been spruced up and it's bigger and it's its own thing. Because I actually really liked Court of Oryx, like giving the tier 1, 2, 3 offerings and having the different bosses was really fun. And you kind of have like a whole area for that now.
I think it's even better than Court of Oryx.
It is,
like you said, it's a whole area. Like it's a pretty massive area with several different areas to engage within it. It's not just like one court, it's like 3 of them, and you kind of go between them, and all of the activities are really engaging, even if you do one of the lower ones. And if you do one of the harder ones, it's like legit hard, I guess, unless you're running Mylan's setup. But if you're not with a fire team that knows what they're doing, or you're just a PvP player, a measly PvP player, it can be kind of difficult.
You should have seen me. Oh my god. I was like, I logged on one day. I'm like, yeah, we're gonna do some PvE to get things started. And I just was dying every like 2 seconds. I was like, I don't know, guys. I don't know what's going on.
But the challenge is good though. Like
it's very good.
It makes it engaging and actually interesting, where I felt like Season of the Deep was interesting. The activities were like something new we've never seen before, but there was just a lot of travel time and not as much playing the game. And I feel like you load into altars and it's like go time. Let's fight some people, and that's all you're doing the whole time, and it's super engaging. And even if you don't win, you still make progress on your rank and everything, and so it's you make progress no matter what, even if it's challenging or you do one of the more simple ones. And the rewards they're
good.
Pretty some of them are pretty good. The hand cannon in particular for this season is spicy.
This hand cannon is so good, and everyone's like, why is it so good? I'm like, it's probably the best feeling hand cannon I've felt in a while.
I've heard so many people say that. Yes,
really, really good.
And I
what
felt
is
this.
It? What RPM is it?
140. It's
140 strand.
140.
It just sounds and feels good. It like on paper, it doesn't even make sense, but then you use it and you're like, this thing is awesome.
Yep, it's really good. I like it very much.
I reckon something's wrong with it. Is it feeling better than what it should feel?
I think a part of it is just like visual sound design. I think when the team really knocks it out like that, there's this mental thing that happens where shots, you just use a thing better when it responds to you better. And I feel like that might be the case here.
Yeah, it's so smooth. Okay. So smooth. Mm-hmm. It feels like it's just working with you instead of like you trying to control it.
The thing that I struggled to understand with the activities, it seems like the loot pool's the same with the Savathun Spire and the altar, or is it different? I don't know if you have to do one activity to get something specific, but from the times that I did it, I felt like it was the same loot pool. So it was just kind of like, if you had a coordinated team, then you could like farm altar, and if you had the items to put into the altars, you could do your tier 3s and just sort of pump through it. But yeah, I'm not too sure if I was missing something there.
I was doing the same. I was just doing the tier 3s because I felt like I was getting more rewards from that activity versus doing the Spire. And I had keys and everything when I went into the Spire. It just didn't seem as rewarding, but it seemed like the weapons were the same. I'm not sure.
I think
Yeah.
if I had to guess I think the rewards are the same. I think the difference in Spire is that there's secrets for you to hunt after. I don't know how many secrets are in there. You've got the chests where you can shoot the
two
hive
chests.
symbols and get those. And I assume there's going to be either new ones every week in different places, or it will be the same ones. But I don't know how many secrets are in there. But to me, it kind of just seemed like that was the exploration, like secrets kind of spot where you can find things. Maybe they'll put something super secret in there.
That'd
I
be
don't
cool.
know. Maybe.
Yeah. And you kind of need to do that to get the whatever they're called, the bone, like the throw heads that you dump into the
Yes.
altar.
Yes.
You need to
Yeah.
get them.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. All right,
Yeah.
I'll have to get the hand cannon.
I
I've
like
got
the
a lot of
season.
red borders. I don't know about you. I had red borders. I had 4 or 5 red borders like day one from doing activities. I don't know if that was just
Wow.
super lucky, but I got a lot of red borders. I don't know if
Yeah.
they
I
I think
buffed
it's
it or
pretty lucky. I guess the good thing about this season and getting red borders is you can like stay in the summoning thing and just keep getting stuff, and like those any of them could be red borders, which is nice.
I feel like I had a similar experience to you, Mylan. I had quite a few red borders whenever I was done with just like the weekly thing. I was just like, oh, I've got like 3 or 4, and like 2 or 3 of them were the fusion. So I just went ahead and I didn't use any of my. What is the thing that lets you get red borders out of something that's in the season pass? I had them
Insight.
Oh, the
saved.
harmonizer.
Yes, the
Harmonizer.
harmonizer. I had that saved
Yeah.
from last season. So I just pulled them on. If you go to the website, you can go to last season pass, and I just pulled them out of there and just like, I'm just going to infuse these because this is what I want to try out first. So that was nice. And I really like that they continued giving us engrams from any playlist activity. Like if you're just playing Crucible, you can get engrams to drop for the season there, which I love. I hate there was some season that we had like three or
Yeah.
4 seasons ago where you had to go and do that activity to death to get those weapons, and I really dislike that. So I like that, like if I really want to get those extra rewards, I can do the altars, but if I just want to play Crucible, I can still get rewarded for this season's stuff there too.
I like
What
the
else?
season.
Yep.
I like the season. I think the season's good. Is there the new PvP map?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm
That
glad
was a
yet.
thing. I've played it once in like 7 hours. So
Yeah.
I don't have like a fully fleshed out opinion on it. Besides it's very big. Like that was my like first impression is this map is very large. It's not large in the way that Disjunction is large, although I think it might actually be a bit bigger than Disjunction. It's very big. Because
big.
it's not wide open. There's corridors kind of everywhere. So you're kind of working through corridors. I really like the visuals of it. I think the visuals are great. But yeah, I don't really have much besides it's big and there's corridors and I like the way it looks because I only played it once. But this is why we want new maps, right? Because you don't have it figured out yet. So it's going to take, especially on a large map, it's going to take a while to actually get comfortable with a map and know where everything is and know where you can go, how you can get to this point from over here. So that's why we want new maps. So
Yeah, it's super clean. And there's not much in the way, and
There's
I
not.
love that about it. It feels
Yes.
wherever you do end up having an engagement, the engagement feels really good.
Yeah.
Did you experience the death? It's like the death corridor. I don't know what else to call it, but
I
there's
don't
this spot
think I did.
in the middle of the map where I swear whenever you're playing sixes, there's always 3 people there from each team, and they're just laning each other down this bottom corridor. I'm curious to see if that becomes a hotspot because I played like 3 or 4 games there, and every single one of them, that was the spot. Like I cannot go there because
man.
I'm gonna get laned immediately.
Man, I played it once. I could not get it to save my life. But my first impression is way better than Disjunction, that's for sure.
Yeah.
If you're not having a good time in Crucible, I've got a challenge for you, Watts.
Mhm.
I booted up Halo Infinite, and in the Forge mode, there's Jav 4, and you can play Jav 4 in Halo Infinite, and we played
Nice.
Gun Game, we played
Oh,
Infection, we
That's
played
fun.
Slayer Fiesta. Kind of good.
I've
Kind of
heard
good.
Halo Infinite is pretty good right now. It's unfortunate it
Mhm.
didn't launch like that because I think it would still
Yeah.
have a pretty good following
Yeah,
right now.
I think so.
There's a crazy amount of stuff you can do in Halo Infinite. It is a sad it did not launch this way, but
Yeah.
I'm telling you, if you're having a slow day and you want some PvP, get your community. I would literally just did
Let's do it.
20 people from chat playing Jav 4. It was great.
Yeah, that sounds fun. That sounds fun. I'm gonna have to load up the freaking new Destiny map in a custom game to try to figure out how the hell it plays.
Have
It's
a
like,
look at-
guys, just get in. I just want to actually experience
Yeah,
it
true.
and run around it and figure
For
out what's going
real.
on.
Yeah. I think that's.
I
Do
think
Twitter
that's,
questions.
well, we have the TWAB, but I don't think there's really much
Yeah,
in
there's not
here.
really much in there.
The biggest thing is really the new emblems,
The
right?
new emblems.
There are new emblems for the movie of the week, artist, and the fashion. And
The
I don't know
fashion is
how
cool.
likely it is for me to win 2 fashion emblems, but this one has a cat on it, and it's
Yup.
purple and pink. I need it.
They're all really cool. Every
They
one
are
of these
really
emblems.
good. Yeah,
I-
it's like the VHS one, the VHS tape. It's
Yes.
the movie of the week that's supposed to look like a VHS tape. I love that.
That's exactly where. So Lyndon is the one who designed that one. I was following him on Twitter, saying that he did pull from retro VHS packaging as
It looks
the
like it, yeah.
inspiration. Yeah,
Because
it looks
they
so
always had
cool.
those lines
Oh.
on them on the little. Oh my goodness, yeah. I've
That
never done.
is good.
Never done movie of the
Hey,
week. I'm gonna
DCP
have
movie of
to.
the week. Let's
We
do
need to
it.
make it happen.
Yep.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
We could if we do maybe.
I'm
You know
gonna
what?
have-
We could do it by doing Beyblades, I bet. If we all go and make a bunch of Beyblades, DCP Beyblade versus some boss or something.
Well,
Let's make a bunch of Beyblades.
I'm not saying who, but one of the community managers reached out and said, "Oh, one of my clips was going to be movie of the week when we all did all the Titans on the Strand."
Oh yeah.
But it never happened.
never
So we got to do
happened.
something else.
That was a really
you
good
should reach back out and
video.
be like, well, now that there's a new emblem.
Just
And
just,
I was
just
there
following up.
in chat, so technically
hmm
I was there. I was
My name
emotional
is on the
support.
Wait, Lego, you were there.
I was there. Yeah.
Yeah, Lego was in there.
Lego was there.
Yeah. We're gonna need Lego to figure out a movie of the week for
Yeah,
us.
I'll brainstorm. We'll get it. We'll get it.
I need it.
I really do need it. It's so cool.
It is very cool.
Oh yeah, that pretty much is it. I am. There's a lot of other weapon stuff that I'm curious about because you got like the crafted weapons, but there's also they brought back old D2 vanilla weapons from
They did, the
like
Red
Vanguard
War.
one. And so that's in the, if you look at where you go for your crafted weapons, it's one of the Ingrams at the top. It says like repurposed or something like that, revamped Vanguard weapons. And it's like a lightweight SMG, a sniper, pulse, and it's all these weapons that are from the beginning of the game. So that's cool. But then there's also these other weapons. It's another faction of weapons that we haven't seen before. They have
Ooh,
their
right.
own intrinsic trait,
Yes.
origin trait, I mean, and they're pretty cool. The origin trait, it actually, when you get a kill, 3 Telesto bolts come out and like sit
Oh.
next to the ground, and someone
I
can run
haven't
over them and
seen that
damage
yet.
them. It's cool. Recovered Red War
man.
weapons. That's the other one. Yeah, that's right. But yeah, the new origin trait's pretty cool. I'm just not sure exactly where you get those weapons. It's just they drop from the altars sometimes. They drop just doing an activity. So
Are they world weapons?
No, because they
No?
come a lot. World weapons are like the rarest thing in the game. I'm glad
They
they're
are,
not
yeah.
that.
yeah.
Because there is
yeah,
a new
definitely.
lightweight sidearm that Merc talked about designing when I interviewed him over on Destiny Massive Breakdowns, and I was so stoked for it. And it's a world weapon drop, and I'm like, I'm never gonna see it.
Oh,
I'm
oof.
never gonna see that weapon.
Oh, we did have new exotics as well.
Oh, yeah.
So I hadn't gotten the Hunter Glaive arms. I just
Mhm.
had the Glaive arms and the new arms. And I went and did a Vex Strike and I got the Glaive ones. I rolled a
Aw.
50-50 and I lost. But I'm really excited for that because if you don't know, the Hunter Moth arms, they
Mhm.
work with the new grenade launcher this season. So you can shoot the new grenade launcher and it will shoot like an moth that goes to hurt somebody, and it will also do a moth that gives you a void overshield.
That's cool.
So pretty cool. Honestly, kind of annoying in Crucible. I experienced it
Yeah.
once and like shot a thing at me, and I'm like, there's freaking moths everywhere, and those things hurt.
Yeah, that does
They
not
really
sound
do.
pleasant.
So I think that's the coolest thing about that exotic. Like they do have the thing where you can throw your grenade and it will turn into like a moth. But I think using it with the exotic weapon is when it starts to be real funny.
You know, that also
Let's try it.
synergizes. I saw some people talking about it because the new exotic fusion for pre-ordering eats your grenade to do the fusion rocket thing, and the
Right.
moth arms give you 3 grenades. And so you get 3 of those charged shots that are like I measured the damage. It's almost as much damage as a honed edge times 4 is an Augie's precision
Ooh.
shot on a boss. That's how
Damn.
strong that shot is. It's like a nuke.
You put out a video on that, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I need to watch that. I saw that. I
crazy
saw it on
strong.
Twitter. And it's so the animation is really cool too. 'Cause you hold the
Yes.
grenade and you go it goes into the gun. Very cool.
Awesome.
Man.
There's some other exotics that were released too, but I haven't dove into them yet. For the Titan
Yeah,
and
the
Warlock.
Titan one I haven't gotten, but I've been told that it just makes your hammer like a Celestial Nighthawk.
Oh yeah, it's
Oh,
one
this is
big
the one
hammer.
where
Mhm.
isn't this is where you can break a someone said you can break a bubble with it now. So like you can
believe
if
it.
you like running that subclass and you want to have the ability to break bubbles, well now you can. There you go.
Yeah.
Bada bing, bada boom.
I think it does a fair bit of damage. I'm
Giant
sure
bonk.
there's some DPS testing on it. Big bonk. It's kind of fun. It's a cool idea though.
Big bonk.
Big bonk. One hammer.
I saw some people doing a dungeon with it and being extremely successful. It looked pretty awesome.
What are the warlock ones?
There's quite a few new exotics. It looks like
I don't remember what the warlock ones even do. They make your void buddy retrievable and redeployable. Apparently.
escalating damage and durability as they defeat targets.
That's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty fun. I
And we-
actually slipped onto Warlock for a second because of the change they did to the Void Blink helmet. And where you blink and you make them volatile, you make people volatile around you when you're like doing any kind of blink around them.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. You just blink and like
You're
everyone's
meant to
really
be on
shiny.
Titan.
I'm on Hunter.
You're meant to be on Titan.
I made a Titan and I played them for like 2 hours.
Oh my god, it must have been so hard. What a hardship.
It was very difficult.
That's it. Your Dungeons and Destiny character's being a Titan now.
Oh yes.
I'm just gonna complain about being a Titan the whole time.
A Titan who wants to be a hunter.
Yeah, I sure wish I was like you, Lego. I want to be sneaky. I'm just big and dumb.
That's a good backstory. That's a
Pretty
good
funny.
backstory.
That's actually pretty funny. I think we're ready for Twitter questions.
I'm sorry, I got distracted on Twitter. I
Twitter
brought up the Twitter
question.
questions, and then I saw that Trump's mugshot had been released. And
Oh.
Twitter is on
That
fire.
distracts me too.
Is that's a thumbnail?
the thumbnail for the episode?
Put like some Eris stuff on them.
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna use it for a thumbnail for my next weapon review. That's great.
Hold on, I'm getting there. Okay. Majestic Mofo says, why did Mylan scam his chat with a BJJ fund and not do a BJJ stream today?
Yes, I did have one planned today, but I'm in the perpetual loop of getting sick, and I've got sick again. My tonsils are killing me. Yeah, my son Leo's at daycare and he's been fighting, man. He's been in the wars. He hasn't recovered since.
Jeez.
And yeah, it keeps going around. So
Kids are dirty fuckers.
Yeah, and it's like other places you don't go to the gym when you're sick because then you get other people sick and then everyone has to stop training and it's fucking annoying. And everyone hates you if you bring the germs to the club. You gotta keep them away. And I especially don't want to make my coach sick because this is his job, and if he's sick, he doesn't get paid. So we've got 3 jiu-jitsu lessons funded for. So there will be at least 3 more jiu-jitsu streams, probably before the podcast. We're planning for next week as well.
Hell yeah.
I was just going to ask what BJJ stands for. I've heard of BJ, but I never heard of BJJ.
Yeah, it's not a BJ stream. That's on a different website.
Different website.
Yeah, I didn't know you could
Brazilian
stream that on
Jiu-Jitsu.
Twitch.
Yeah. So that was part of my incentives. Actually, did I have it?
Wait, what?
Oh, I'd done it before last
He's a
podcast.
very lucky man. Grim Invictus says, hello, DCP crew. This question is for Mylan. There's been a misconception going around in the lore community that guardians and ghosts aren't actually paracausal. Only the light is, even though that is obviously not the case. Can you please give your thoughts on this matter?
Oh, this sounds like a bunch of people going, actually. I would say that Bungie introduced law about killing ghosts and having to use paracausal weapons to kill them would probably prove that they are paracausal, and we crush ghosts using the light as well. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't need that. I guess maybe OG law you could get away with it. That
for those
things
who
were
don't know,
infused
can you
with
explain
light.
what paracausal means?
Well, it's a made-up word by Bungie, but well, maybe it's not made up by Bungie, but it's popularized in Bungie, being outside the laws of physics. There's different interpretations for it, and people will probably correct me, but the fact that you can summon the void and shoot arc lightning and defy gravity and that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's why the Vex have issues simulating it, because it doesn't obey the rules. So that's why we're unpredictable.
Speaking of grabbing the ghost, wasn't that awesome in the cutscene when you grab Amaru?
I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, don't talk crap about. That was really funny. I kind of it reminded me of just like 2 kids kind of in the background, like fighting while the adults are talking.
I don't know. To answer the question,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was like, to answer the question, I would say if something's empowered with light, it becomes paracausal, similar to how you empower a bullet with light, becomes a paracausal bullet that can be used to kill stuff. So I would say that, yeah, guardians and ghosts are paracausal, but I'll happily read whatever Reddit posts or community this is coming from with the argument. See the falls and against.
Ultron Prime says, is anyone else disappointed that we're only getting 1 super and 1 aspect for each character in the final shape? I was expecting a 3rd darkness subclass, or at least stasis and strand supers.
I can understand wanting like a new stasis, especially a new stasis super, because it's been out for a while now and they only have 1. So I do get that for sure.
Yeah. I don't know if disappointed is the right word. Because there's 2 sides of this. I really loved Strand, and Strand kind of kept me in Lightfall for way longer than I would have been. It was so novel, so unique, and they did such a great job with it. However, like I've always said, sometimes I think parts of the game suffer when they introduce those really big things. So part of me thinks that final shape will be more streamlined and more slick and more polished than Lightfall was. I know these are all different teams, but I don't know. For example, Strand needed its own storyline, right? Imagine if Strand wasn't in Lightfall. It probably could have focused on like the creation of Neomuna. Like I don't really want another subclass with like a training montage to like overtake final shape. And I kind of
that's
feel
true. Yeah.
Good point.
I kind of feel like maybe that's why they're not adding all this crazy stuff in final shape. And it's like just modifying the existing subclasses essentially, so there can be a big focus on the narrative.
That's a very good point.
So yeah, I would have loved to see it from a gameplay point of view, but I also kind of feel like they're better when they're focused like this.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
Twab the Titan says Monte Carlo Catalyst is dope AF. Do you have any other Catalyst wishes?
Oh, but you got to do.
Yes.
What's that? What's the hand cannon one? You got to do Red Death now. I mean, Red Death and bloody
And Crimson.
Crimson.
They all have
Yeah.
stabbies.
They all have stabbies.
They do.
You can't give Monte Carlo stabby stabs and not give Red Death stabby tabs. If it's so. Is Red Death come back? Is that the one that's come
It
back?
is,
It comes
yep.
back.
Yeah.
Yep.
Come back.
Do you think it'll come back
Sure,
with
yeah.
healing?
Oh yeah, that was
yeah,
strong.
It has to.
I think it has to. It's well, actually, it for sure will because it's going to be solar. They mentioned that it's going to be solar, so I assume it's going to do restoration or cure to tie into the solar subclasses.
They took
That's
that
cool.
off of it in Destiny 1, right? As they changed it to do something else.
Oh, I don't remember.
I don't remember. I remember them adjusting it, but I don't think they made it not heal you anymore, or at least it worked differently. Like maybe gave you health back immediately, like they changed Worm Husk to do.
Oh yeah, that's true. Instead of the full regen, it was just like
Yeah.
little blips of health. Yeah,
I'll
that might
tell
have been it.
you what I would really like, and this goes along with you talking about solar and Red Death, and it tying into those subclass verbs. I really like that they're utilizing all those now, and the new. I know none of y'all have messed with this yet, but the new fusion, it doesn't have the catalyst yet. It's coming in final shape, so I already know it's coming. But I really, please let it actually take, because it sucks your grenade up, and I want it to use whatever verb, like subclass verb, either from the grenade you suck or just whatever subclass you're on, because it already plays into that. The fusion changes its element type based off of what your element is, and so you can run like triple strand and triple stasis because it's in the energy slot. And since it sucks up your grenade already, it would just be awesome to shoot that giant blast and have it, make everyone volatile or make everyone scorched or jolt. I don't know. It would just be awesome.
Tony says, if y'all were an AI, what would you want your function to be? Can be literally anything. Thanks for each of you and your hard work. What would your function be?
Like a chat GPT. What would you be?
Oh, I see. Okay.
Man,
I would convert sentences to Australian.
I would
that's
use
pretty
that.
good.
You type in yes, and it goes nah, yeah. You type in no, it says yeah, nah.
That's pretty
You
good.
type in like, oh, hi, can't go out tonight. You go, yeah, nah, can't. There you go. That's my function.
I like it.
Man, I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know. I would definitely not work correctly.
Yep.
I'd be down a lot.
Maybe it's
Maybe you would convert all your answers to a conspiracy theory, Briar.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
CJ Esty says, is it safe to enjoy Destiny the game again? It's always safe to enjoy
Yes.
Destiny.
I think they mean like, and if you ever want to say, I kind of like Destiny right now, you got to begin with all of your problems first, or be like, however, it's still truly terrible and awful and it's the worst game ever. Otherwise, people call you a shill and it's not very fun.
The internet fucked us up.
Yeah, that's
True.
This is not the world I grew up in. You used to be able to enjoy things. Fine. It was okay.
There's that popular statement, like if you go to like Steam and look at the review for Destiny 2, it's like, this is I hate this game so much, it's my favorite game. Like that's like the most upvoted thing, and I don't really feel that way. Like I genuinely just like playing the game, and every once in a while at the end of a season, I get burned out. I go do something else. And then I come back and it feels great.
Yeah.
I'm definitely on the side of I'm moving away from like grinding Destiny every day or even playing it every day to just kind of logging in, enjoying it, enjoying the story each week. Probably get my cards each week. I'll probably spend some time getting the new cards, unlocking them, and then just kind of playing anything else that takes me fancy. So, and I hope people get to that point of not needing to play Destiny till their brain falls out and they just get angry at the world.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's been like 4 years since I've done that. And so since I've like, only played Destiny, I'm like, yeah, let's play Destiny all day, all night. Let's do it. It's been, my playtime has varied between all of the seasons and expansions. But yeah, it's usually just, especially with the way the seasonal model is, you log in and do all the new stuff. I'll do some Crucible things like, oh, I want to try this in Crucible. So I'm going to go make this build and kind of see how that is. And then go play something else. I'm excited for Trials tomorrow. New armor.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, what do you think
yeah,
are the odds that it's going to be the new map? Wouldn't that be incredible for the first week back?
It would be pretty good because it
nobody
would
knows it
allow
yet.
everyone to experience the map. Yeah, a lot. That would be cool. It is in comp. I know it's real big, and people are like, "Dear God, why
Is it too big for
comp?"
Trials, do you think?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I feel like it depends on where they spawn you, because they could spawn you not as far away.
They
and it
could,
would play
yeah.
out a lot faster.
Look at what
so-
they did with Burnout.
That's what I was thinking of.
You just spawn us right next to each other, like on the other side of a wall.
True.
Yep.
Akuna says, you all have decided to become a hive god like Eris. If she is become the hive god of vengeance, what would each of the DCP crew become?
Well, I think I have to be the god of cannibalism.
Oh,
That's not a stretch. The hive god of eating their friends.
Then you can literally feed me. You feed Neris, you could literally feed me.
Have to be either the hive god of flightless birds or the hive god of like VB long necks.
Oh, you have a long neck when you transform.
Yeah.
That'd be good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
Get more beer down.
I'm just thinking about the way I play the game, and I feel like it would be like hive god of stealth or hive god of misdirection.
cool.
One or the other.
Hive god
Yeah,
of
that's
rumble.
cool.
I've got of range.
Range.
Fusion rifle people across the
Yeah.
map.
The hive god of Voop.
The Hive God of Fusion is a cool name.
Yeah. that's not bad.
Fusion and all the things that come with fusion.
Fusion.
Briar's the Hive God of barbecue.
Barbecue.
The hive god of vintage.
That's pretty good.
The Mohegan Knight says, what has gotten more expensive but worse? Oh, like everything.
Yeah, pretty much everything.
All of it.
Yeah.
Even like
Yeah.
toilet paper. Like everything.
Everything.
Yeah, there isn't a thing I can think of.
Not beer, though. Beer's gotten more expensive, but not worse.
True.
What is like the worst thing though? Like toilet paper galls me because there's so much less of it and it's so much more expensive.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah.
Buying movie tickets.
Oh.
Because when you go to buy
True.
it, there's all these taxes and like service fees. And it's like, bro, I literally just want to buy, like I have to go physically to the movie theater and
That's true.
purchase this ticket. What service fee? What website doesn't, people just have websites. There's no service fee. There's no one like taking this money from you. I would pay the same way whether I was there or online. It's literally just a money grab that all the theaters decided together, we're going to do these service fees and y'all just have to deal with it.
It's like when ATM started doing that. Like one of them did it like, hey, we could just charge service fees for people using our ATM. And then they all did it. We're like, oh, we want that money too. And now the world sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Movie theaters have gotten worse because our home theaters have gotten so good. It's harder to justify
True.
going to the movie theater.
Because people got phones and they're always trying to do something. Luckily, we got Alamo Draft House by Austin, but it's it's still bad.
I do like when they serve beer at a movie theater. Like I
Mhm.
dig on that.
Get a cocktail and a burger,
Yeah, that's
and then
nice.
recline in your chair.
Yeah,
Yep.
the movie theaters
Mhm.
themselves have gotten a lot nicer.
And then fall asleep. And for it to be the most
That's the problem,
expensive
yeah.
nap you've ever had.
Yeah, that's true. I need blankets. I need movie theater blankets, like a plane.
You know what I do
I'll
like at
tell you
movie
what.
theaters now is that they have those like coupon like that. They have those cards that you can use at the concession stand that get you to the front of the line.
Mm.
Oh,
I like
Beat
that.
pass?
I didn't
So
know
I don't
about
have to
that.
wait in line at the concession stand. I just walk to the front and be like,
That is
"Yo,
nice.
I got like the
VIP.
yeah that I paid like
Yeah.
I don't know $11 for." So it's not even like
If there were blankets at movie theaters, I can guarantee you would not want to touch them.
It'd have to be
Yeah.
like the way it is on an airplane, where it's like a brand
Fresh.
new one.
Yeah.
Fresh.
True.
It's not
Well,
great.
imagine the prices then for
I
a
know.
fresh blankie.
yeah.
True. $50
Do they
if you want a
still have
blanket.
those on airlines? I haven't seen one in forever.
Yeah, it has been. I think if you have a really
not.
long flight.
Yeah, if it's international, you'll get it.
Yeah. Three Bros One Controller podcast says cheap product that's better than name brand. Cheap product that's better than name brand.
Doppelganger. It's a local soda that's like Dr. Pepper, and they're not really local, but they are off-brand, like more specialized, and it's so good. And
I will
hardly any
not
restaurants
sit
sell them
here
anymore.
and listen to you disparage the good name of the doctor.
You got to try it. You just got to try it. It's called Doppelganger. It's so good.
Doppelganger, literally a copy.
I know, right?
I'm doing a video right now on an 8-bit Do controller, 8-bit Do controller. They make awesome controllers, and they're like $40 or $50,
Yes.
and they're like
Compared to 200 plus.
yeah, they're as high quality as like these aren't like the controllers that you give to like the friend that comes over your house, or your cousin that comes over your house. These are like as good as first party controllers, and they have features that like the $200 controllers have, like the buttons in the back and stuff like that. They're pretty good.
That's a good one.
Grim Invictus says, have any of you ever been recognized out in public? And if I ever cross paths with you, how do I tell if you're in the mood to take a pic with me or if you're having a bad day? Well, if I'm currently swearing at the cashier, I'm having a bad day. Or you should still come over. Because I'll have a bad day with you. We'll have a bad day together.
I
I'll
don't
make my
know.
bad day your bad day.
I don't know if any of us are like, I don't know if there's many people in this space who are famous to the point where it's annoying that people ask to take pictures with you. Because that would have to be happening like all the time for you to be like, oh God, here we go again.
Like, I think it's happened maybe twice to me. And can you imagine if like, no, I'm not taking a picture of you. It's so annoying.
Yeah, it's exciting. I'm like, oh my God. It makes me feel special.
Happy.
Yeah. I'm like, wow, I'm a celebrity for today. You make me a celebrity for a day. And,
I will. There is a version of that because being in a band for a long time before this, like every show you do, there's a ton of people that want to like take pictures and stuff. And so there's like a part of it that is like that. But I feel like whenever it's not like every day you're doing shows like that, then it's like cool. It's kind of like you said. But I do have a hilarious story about getting recognized somewhere because it was so awesome. Okay, so I got to start from the beginning. The very first time we ever did a tour like up the United States, I'm like, I think it was 17, I think. And we play at this place in Arkansas, I think. And it was like a one-night show, and we were going up. The next night we were in Nashville, and just for fun, we were like, let's go to this restaurant, whatever. We're at this restaurant in Nashville, and these guys come up to us and they're like, hey, are you in this band? Blah, 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 blah. And we were like, what? We had just started playing, and they were at the show we were at in Arkansas, and they just happened to be in Nashville that night. And we were just freaking out. It was like, what are the odds, you know, that the next day they would be in another state? So that's my story.
I got recognized at like a food convention. It was like a wine and food convention or something like that. It was something weird. I got dragged
That's
along.
That
to.
sounds like where all the lore hobbits are hanging
Yep.
out. Look at them with their fancy
This
wines and
fits.
trees. They're like, oh, it's Milam Games. Hello.
Ooh,
Ooh. Yeah. Ooh, that's the sound of the hobbits.
Second
Ooh.
breakfast. And it was like pretty packed, like a convention kind of thing. And someone recognized we had a chat, but then they walked away, and because it was so busy, like we kind of walked in the same direction, so we could hear him telling his friends about meeting me. He's like, "Oh, that guy's a YouTuber, whatever," and they're like, "Oh yeah, did you say anything?" He's like, "Nah."
That's great.
I have had a couple of situations where it's been super awkward and inconvenient. One time I was with my family and we were in public, and like, you know, he was just excited, and I get that, but it was like I was spending time with my family, and like it's really awkward for them to like be involved in that. So I was like, you know, I appreciate this, but I got to go back to being with my family. And another time I do photography, like seasonally, and I was working, and I was like, you know, I don't know what to tell you. I am busy. Like I'm working. Like I can't just like hang out with you right now, you know? So like, you know, I love you. Also, like, I'll be honest also is I don't take compliments very well. So it's like really just awkward for me to like stand there and like have somebody.
What Briar's
talk
saying
about.
is no, he doesn't want you to talk to him.
Yeah.
Take him if you see Briar, stay far away.
If you see me with my family, you are babysitting Leo. Okay, I'm gonna pass Leo to you
Handing him over.
and go get a beer. Do you know, I had to. I miss not really being recognized, but similar story. I went to JB Hi-Fi, which is like a tech shop, because the jiu-jitsu streams. I wanted to get a gimbal for the
nice.
in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was buying this, and I was like, "Oh, here we go." The young guys like, "Oh, so what are you using it for?" So of course, it are OnlyFans. They're like, "No.
Porn.
I'm live streaming jiu-jitsu." He's like, "Oh, you do that?" I was like, "Oh, long story short, like I normally do gaming." He's like, "Oh, you're on Twitch?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Okay." He's like, "What's your channel?" I'm like, "Okay." So like gave him my channel and everything. And he's like, "Oh, that's really cool. It's really cool." And then it's like, then I gave him all of my personal details. Like, "What's your mobile phone number?"
I
Oh,
hate that.
yeah.
I hate that.
Right? And then he's like, "Ooh, straight to Reddit." And I'm like, "Don't you do it, because I'll fucking come back here." And I know it's you.
I've had that a bunch of times where like somebody recognizes you and then you have to hand them your credit card.
Yeah.
And you're
yeah.
like,
That would be
I
awkward.
hate
Yeah.
yeah.
That would be awkward. I haven't had that. I've just had people just be like, they've always been really nice. It's like, hey, are you Mr. 5000 watts? Like, yeah. They're like, and that's it.
That's cool.
It's just nice.
Josh says, with Eris transforming into a hive god of vengeance, what would you turn into the? I think I read this one right.
You did. Yes.
Zabe says, "Are we back, fam?" I think we're back. I feel kind of.
We're definitely more back than we were like 2 weeks ago.
That was rough. That was, I
That's
think,
for sure.
the roughest podcast we've ever had to do.
It was over, and then we were
Now we're Blackburn.
burned.
Yep.
The Black Bondar says, "Hi, DCP crew. After watching the showcase and the final change from seasons to episodes, do you think that Bungie are relying on inertia to retain enough interest in Destiny 2 to keep the lights on until Marathon and any other games they are developing to come out in 2 or 3 years' time?"
The episodes, I don't know about you, but when they were talking about the episodes, I got a lot of feelings of uncertainty from them when they were asking about what comes after episode 3. But they went on to clarify on Twitter, like it's not ending after episode 3. But I guess everyone else picked up on like the sort of uncertainty, like, oh, we're just going to see how it works out. We've got to try these 3 episodes. And then
I think it's more so
reevaluate?
comes from them like trying to switch up the seasonal model, and
Yeah,
if this
I think
doesn't
so.
work, then they'll obviously want to change it. But they've said
Yeah.
I can't remember, there's a bunch of places that I've read it and heard them say it, that they are fully committed to Destiny forever, essentially, is what they said. And that I think Joe said it, that most of the team is on Destiny, like most of Bungie are on Destiny. So, yeah.
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 I don't feel like they're just waiting around till Marathon at all. I feel like
No,
there's
not at
so
all.
many people who care so much about the game. And maybe there are particular pain points that whoever asked the question, or, whoever does have pain points are struggling with. And even I do, we all have like certain things we want to see different about the game. But I feel like there are so many people who care so much internally at Bungie, and their sole thing is making Destiny better, not just waiting around for Marathon.
You can love something that has flaws, and it's okay to do so.
Mm-hmm.
Every person has flaws, and you love them anyway, right? It doesn't stop you from loving them.
I got married somehow.
Buko16 says, so what is the Eris the god of? What would Ikora's Val and Cade be the gods of if they got their inner hive on? Ikora would be the god of vengeance.
That's
Zavala would
Eris.
be the god of
Eris,
being a cop. Cade would be the god of funny quips.
First, I thought like that Zavala would be the god of justice, but then like it's more like
That's what I said, being a cop.
It's not though. It's more like
You're right. Cops have nothing to do with justice.
like it's more, he cares more about the people at the tower. That's the whole reason he didn't go after everyone who killed Cade. So it's not about justice. It's more about like safety, but that doesn't sound right. There's a word there that I'm missing.
Yeah. Yeah. God of Mischief for K is a good one.
Yeah.
I was thinking that
God
too.
of Mischief would be good.
Very good.
He's a Loki.
True.
Foreman George says the new Arc Hunter Super should be called the Tefty after he voiced his idea when Gathering Storm was announced a year ago. Love the podcast. Best wishes to all of you on the end of your Destiny journey. The new Arc Hunter.
I think Tefty brought up like throwing the staff.
Cool.
Which is like what it's literally Katarina from League of Legends. I cannot reiterate it enough. It is literally Katarina from League of Legends. That is the exact thing that she does.
Right.
The exact thing.
So are we sure that Tefty isn't working at Bungie because he had this idea and now it's implemented? Is he
might be.
There?
Maybe he didn't want to break the news to us. He's like, no, I'm like totally coming back. Not at Bungie.
One too many hosts going to Bungie. Can't let them know.
Johnny Karski Lee says, with Crota's End being the easiest raid of Destiny 1, what changes to which encounter would you like to see that make it more difficult? Egg, Blackout mod on the Darkness Tunnel Thrall encounter. Dude.
Well,
First of all, Crota was not the easiest raid of Destiny 1 when it launched. It was hard as shit.
Do y'all remember doing hard mode camping on top of a freaking mantle ledge because you physically can't get in there and fight things, hiding on a little ledge?
Y'all need to go back and look at that YouTube video where he's like, get over here, and he's chasing you all over the arena. Crota was literally running around that arena, murking fools.
Well, what I can tell you that's actually happening to make it harder for contest mode. Enemies will be more aggressive. Enemies will have more shields. Enemies will have more health, but players will not be squishier.
That's nice.
There you go. That's what's going to be harder specifically.
Yeah, but I don't know specifically, but all the reprise raids have been pretty good with bringing them up to difficulty level. So I imagine they're going to do a good job with Crota too.
They added like a whole other layer to Vaulted Glass, specifically at the end. So
tough.
yeah, I'm curious really if they'll add another layer on top of what you're already doing with Crota, because there's not that much going on. It was difficult because of the way we fought back then, but they could totally add a whole other layer of mechanics that we haven't thought of yet. It's just going to be a whole new thing.
Mm-hmm.
Cobalt says, "Hey DCP, seems like Eris could use a Snickers right about now. What's your go-to hangry snack?"
Cheez-Its.
He's bringing out the peas.
Oh,
Peas.
yeah. Harvest snack.
Peas.
He's bringing out the peas.
The peas.
Mm.
I could always munch down a banana. There's so much potassium. They come with their own convenient wrapper.
It's true. They are very easy to eat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I normally grab some kind of fruit. Usually easy to eat. Makes yeah.
Coffee, I'll be honest.
Yeah. That too.
Kyle Flint says, "If you could become a half human, half enemy hybrid of any Destiny race like Eris did with the Hive, which one would you choose and why?"
I mean, getting extra hands from an Elixir would be very helpful.
Yeah.
That would be.
That's what I was
that would
thinking.
be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
I guess you could do some
game and eat
timey-wimey
at the same
stuff.
time.
If you're Vex,
Whoa,
you
time
could
travel
do
would
some
be a convenient feature.
timey-wimeys.
And you always got milk on you.
Yeah, you have radiolarian milk, which is poisonous to everyone else.
Good. Good.
Yeah, either of those are good options.
What would you get if your kebab just become thicker?
Yeah.
Big feet, big elephant feet.
You got a chance with Keitel now.
Oh man.
Ooh.
It would look like the end of Secret Invasion. I don't know if anybody's listening and you watch the show, you know what I'm talking about. That's what it would look like mixing with the Cabal.
Psychic powers from the Scion. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I like this one. Blandy McBlanderson says, "Of the following 5 names, 4 are real Major League Baseball players and 1 is made up. Can you guess the fake name? Number 1, Coco Crisp. 2, Jack Glasscock. 3, Johnny Dickshot. 4, Mordecai Slappy McTaint. 5, Rusty Cunts."
Mordecai Slappy McTains has got to be it, right? Like the made up
so
one.
ridiculous.
There's no way.
It's so ridiculous. It's probably the right one. It's probably one of the most. I
There's
think
no
number
way.
5. No, I don't know. I mean, that's the name of Chip.
It's gotta be.
Johnny Dickshot.
It's gotta be
Come
Mordecai.
On, Johnny Dickshot.
It's
can't
gotta be
real.
Mordecai. Come on.
Mordecai Slappy McTaint.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has to be.
I'm pretty sure I know that for a fact there's a Coco Crisp, so I know it's not that one.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, Mordecai.
Sir
McTaint?
Glasscock. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jack Glasscock?
Ah.
Yeah, that sounds real.
Yeah,
Johnny
that's-
Dickshot, though? Whose name is Johnny Dickshot?
No.
Johnny
And they
Okay.
called him Johnny.
There was a girl at my wife's high school growing up who their parents named her Six because their last name was Packabush.
Oh, man.
So it was
Six pack.
Six Packabush.
Six pack of bush.
That's just mean.
What does that
man.
mean?
It's a type of beer.
Yeah,
like a
six-pack of
Busch.
Busch
Six
beer.
pack
Yeah.
of bush. What
They named
the
her
hell?
Six.
And so they named her Six. Yeah.
Did they spell it out or just give her the number?
I don't know. I just knew the name part and how awful that was. I was like, geez.
I mean, introducing
Well-
yourself as Six would be kind of cool.
That part's
Yeah,
Just
like
don't
some
worry about that. Just
assassin
go get married. Take
Stranger
the other
Things.
name. Bada bing, bada boom.
there we go.
You're fine.
And never
Yeah,
talk
imagine
to your
introduce
shitty
yourself.
parents
I'm
again.
6.
I'm Six. What's your last name? Don't have
Anything
one.
is better than what I got.
I legally changed it when I was old enough.
Yeah.
To what?
They'd be
7.
like, what are you, part of Umbrella Academy? I'm 6. It's like, yep.
I'm Six.
All right. Are we going with Mordecai? Wait, we don't get an answer. Blandy, how could you do this to me? We don't get
Every
an answer.
fucking time.
You're gonna have to Google it now. You have to
Oh.
Google every single name.
Don't Google that one.
Johnny Dickshot has a baseball card. That's what Diddy said. Johnny Dickshot has a baseball card.
Oh wow. So how about
That's an interesting
Taint?
card.
Does he have a baseball card?
Yeah, there he is, Donnie Dickshot. He was born in 1910.
1910.
Yeah.
Isn't that before they
Oh,
invented
man.
porn?
Definitely not.
Hey,
I mean,
Blaze.
it must have been before they invented bullying because we had kid Johnny.
Poor
The last
Johnny.
name's Dick Shot.
Apparently, he
man.
proclaimed himself to be the ugliest man in baseball.
Wow.
There you go.
Hey Blaze says, in the Final Shapes trailer, we saw the Guardians fly into the portal like it was normal, but we've seen firsthand other Guardians try to do the same and fail. What do you guys suppose the secret is that Savathun will provide for us to successfully navigate the Traveler's guts?
Well, wasn't it
made
the
up
witness like
words.
splitting them in half on their way to the? What
Is that
happened?
the
I don't know.
witness doing that?
No, we didn't
I don't know.
see, and it showed a cutscene of the ship flying in, the like old school Titan, and then it went black, and then you just see them like
The blueberry
all
Titan.
messed up. Yeah,
Yeah, maybe we need that power to like slice things up and put it back together. Maybe that's the key. You know, we're gonna get chopped up, and we need to be able to work out how to put ourselves back together. B. Don't know.
He's just gonna give
Casper
us stealth.
says, do you guys think Eris will sacrifice herself this season, or do you think we could see that Eris from the dark future take shape? She ultimately became the Witch Queen in an alternate timeline.
I really don't want to lose Eris.
No.
She's such a cool character.
ain't no.
No, I don't
way.
think she'll go. I
No,
think
she's
this will be
too
her
good.
like Super Saiyan form. She'll be able to like call on the
you
Hive
think she'll be able
magic to
transform?
transform when needed in combat.
So you think she'll go back?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I don't want her to, but I think she will.
I hope we get some like legit awesome cutscenes of all these characters fighting in
Yeah,
Final
me
Shape.
too. I would love like a real scene where we're actually like on the field fighting alongside.
Yes, like a blend of what we get now with our characters in the cutscene, but like also action with the other characters. That would be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be dope. Ryan says, hat question, flex fit, snapback, or the weird strap and buckle? Flex
I don't
fits
wear hats.
never fit me right.
I don't wear hats either.
I can't wear hats. Yeah,
No, none of you wear hats ever?
my
Ever?
wife like
Even
forbids
when you're in
me.
the
I
sun?
look so bad in them. I'm not even kidding.
When I go out, when it's hot, I'll wear a hat. And I'll wear either if I'm in the garden, I'll wear a Bunnings hat, like the dad Bunnings hat with the wide brim, like straw hat.
That's when I kayak and stuff.
Yeah. Or my favorite hat is I got like a Monsters University hat from Disney, and it's like, you know, like a university cap, but it's just got the Monsters University symbol on it.
I kinda like
Nice.
that. Yeah, I don't like flex fit hats. I like the strap and buckle because they're infinitely adjustable, but they are admittedly dad hats. And snapback hats, I don't know. Sometimes the snapping ain't in the right spot. You know, sometimes it's a little too tight or a little too loose. This Week in Video Games says, hi, DCP crew. Great start to the season so far. I'm a big fan of Eris and her Hive transformation. But did you
Yup.
think Eris is going to survive a potential battle with Xivu at the end of the season?
Yeah.
Sorry. Plus, what do
Easy.
you think Drifter thinks of all this?
Well, there's
Oh.
lore on a hand cannon, right, that talks about how Drifter feels about Eris's transformation.
What do you say?
I'm ready
What'd he
yet.
say?
That's the next video.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I
Anyone
can't
else?
remember. I can't remember.
I was so
I
curious.
can't remember.
I'd
I
still hit
know.
that.
That's probably what he said. Yeah. So yeah, I don't remember. I have bad memory. Sorry. Check out the hand cannon.
Uncle Erdnot says, hey, DCP crew. What time is it? Oh, we should be wrapping this up. This is the last question. Uncle Erdnot says, hey, DCP crew, not a question, just want to say I appreciate all you. Thank you very much for providing hilarious
Thank
2
you.
hours I always look forward to the show, even if Briar is crock shill.
Mm,
I'm gonna read another one because that wasn't really a question. But
Thank
thank
you.
you, Uncle or not. Mad Geek says, Mylan, what was your initial reaction to Bungie calling out Bife in the after show to say that his job as a lore master is still assured, but did not acknowledge the safety of your job?
oh.
That was hilarious when it happened on stream. I was like, what? and then I obviously went into the Twitch chat and got everyone to go, all my minions to type, what about Mylan? What about Mylan?
Oh, that's awesome.
I immediately thought, why are they ignoring Aztec Cross?
True.
Oh wait,
I am.
we got some lore real quick from the Hankin. Drifter wiped the sweat off his brow and the grin off his face. His shoulders slumped as he stepped down from the platform in the derelict. The Gambit match had ended in a hard-earned win. Is this the full thing?
Okay, can we get the condensed version?
Drifter, and again. Drifter looked up at the swirling mass of Egregore and his thoughts shifted back to Eris Morn. They found a little comfort with each other, a little understanding. But what did it look like, he wondered, when all that chittin' burst out of her? He's wondering about bursting. He's still into it. Is this fanfic? I don't know. Could be. What did it feel like to eat up all those tithes the Guardians were taking for her in the field, in the Crucible, in Gambit? He'd read the reports. He saw the theories on VanNet. He didn't trust them. He trusted her. Drifter nodded to himself and took a breath as he heard the Guardians assemble behind him. He stepped up on the platform, flicking his jade coin. It spun in the air, catching the light before falling back into the Drifter's waiting palm. You ever eat hive eyes? He asked with a smile, twisting his wrist. Eyes. Does he want to eat Eris's eyes?
Is Drifter one of those dudes who drives around with I eat ass on the back of his car?
Oh, definitely.
He's into it.
He is 100% into it. Twisting his wrist around and slipping the coin back into his sleeve, real juicy. They go pop in your mouth and a shiver runs all the way through. I'll tell you when you're older. He winked.
This is fanfic, right? This is it.
I appreciate it though.
Why does he want to eat? I'm getting that he just wants to eat Eris's eyeballs from that.
I feel like we've gone into Baldur's Gate. This is some Baldur's Gate dialogue.
Transmat fired.
You had us though. I'll be honest with you. You had us.
I like it. It's beautiful. But it's the hand cannon lore entry. He's just why does he go to eyeballs? He's like, you know what eyeballs taste like?
No.
Because they're weird. They're meant for each other. They're both weird as
do you think he's gonna lick her eyeball? He's just gonna can we have a cutscene in this season where he just walks up and he's like, eyeball? Oh, Eris, and he just does a quick little
He just wanted to say juicy. That's
juicy eyeballs.
Yeah, I think so.
Your eyeballs are the juiciest of them all.
Oh gosh.
Well.
You're chitting exploding all over me. Moon dust, you gotta keep moon dust, you gotta put that away.
Who amongst us has never licked somebody else's eyeball? Really?
I don't know if I have.
Yeah.
I feel like you'd remember.
Maybe accidentally.
That's going to wrap this one up. Get back to your loved ones. Lick their eyeball to let them know you care.
Over that.
Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.